installed today. My toilet was installed today.
Wow, you got.
Well,
wait, what do you mean you haven't had a toilet in your house?
Dan can take a
No,
dump
in my basement.
now.
Oh.
In my basement.
Damn.
I've been having to run upstairs. Oh shit, we're live.
He's been using a bucket. Dan's been using a bucket. What are you talking about?
Oh, you know what,
Played
Dan? That
Archie
was
Bear.
better than getting it wet.
Yeah,
Actually, the
Brandon,
funny
you
thing
guys listen?
is, we were walking around we were walking around like a store that just sells like camping supplies and stuff. And I don't have plumbing up here in my studio. And I saw one of the things that you take and go camping in a tent. And I was like, holy crap, I should just buy that. I can use that in my office. And my wife and daughter are like, that is so gross. And I'm like,
it is.
What? That's what it's made for.
No, Andy, that's what a sump pump is for.
Yeah. Clean it right up, man. I'm listening to Braga and now Andy, and all I'm hearing is.
No, I was on Amazon, and they have it for. You can only get them in Canada, but they have the Keone piss bottle. You can get those too.
Oh
yeah,
shit!
I was going to say you should just go like low tech and just get the Mountain Dew bottle. It looks like piss anyway.
Hey, you know what?
Just wait. Well, let me explain to everybody what's happening.
Hey, I'll tell you. I'm going to be honest with you. There was one night when we were streaming well into the night on Ethan's show, and we're all drinking and everything, and I was drinking beer, and I had to piss like a racehorse, and I had this empty can, and I thought about like, I wonder if anybody would notice.
So I'm not gonna say my friend's name.
I didn't do it, but I thought about it.
I won't say my friend's name.
Hardcore.
But he lives in LA, and LA traffic is so bad. I always joke that he has a bladder like a baby. He has a jar in his car. So if he's stuck in traffic if he's stuck in traffic and has to take a leak, he does.
Well, Randy on that subject says, Andy, don't you have a window?
I do. But there's literally stuff in front of every window. They're blocked.
Isn't that's like old school where they used to just have their what are those things they pee in, the little pans, and they just throw them out the window,
Red
right?
pan.
Yeah. You could do that, man. But anyway,
I think we got the wrong topic.
Yeah.
This is what we should be on.
We should be talking about piss bottles. But what we thought would be funny is because I had gone live. I just pushed the live button and you guys were like still talking and it got kind of crazy. And so what we try to do is introduce we bounce everybody out and then we bring everybody in one at a time. So I had said, I'm trying to be civilized. I'm trying to be professional. And I told I go, I'm going to bounce you guys out and then I'm going to introduce you and bring you in. And then you guys were like, why? Yes, I did.
You didn't. Hey, listen.
Oh my God.
Hey, I'm the LA friend.
Freaking
I'm the LA friend, Andy. Why don't you just say my name?
It's not you.
Here's the secret.
Really
here's the secret. And I found this out because I had the long drives when I was directing. I was doing 2 hours each way, and there would become times where you're like, "Oh my God, I fucking got to go," and you can't pull over because the next exit's like 3 miles down. But 3 miles down is 30 minutes.
Oh yeah.
You know, I found that the only thing that works is a Gatorade bottle, and I'm not saying I'm girthy or anything like that, but I'm saying like a regular water bottle, you kind of have to like press it up. And if you want to just basically like drop it in and put your both hands on the wheel, you can with a Gatorade bottle.
So always have a Gatorade bottle while you're driving.
Yes. And that's not lemon lime is all I'm saying.
Don't drink it. Don't drink it.
I don't know, Dan, when I'm up here and I got to go, I need something wide.
There you go. That's why we call you tuna can.
That's right. The goblet of piss.
Remember that astronaut who was going to kill the wife?
Oh yeah,
lover, and she drove from Texas to Florida wearing a diaper so she could drive straight through the night.
It's such a detail. That's a detail.
Those things anyway, so she was used to it. So she holds up her diaper and drives out there to kill the wife of the.
It's the best detail. It is literally the best detail of that story
ever.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
Makes the difference.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, hey, ex-astronaut goes to murder, wife of affair,
wearing
a diaper.
Oh my gosh! Drink damn piss and trip your balls.
It's true. It's true.
Oh my god!
But it's all natural. It's either psilocybin or THC. That's it.
There you go.
Oh shit! Marcus says I drive a lot. Well, now you know what to do, man. Get yourself a Gatorade bottle and drive and pee and drive and pee. Yeah,
pee and drive.
Yeah, pee and drive. Now I don't know what to do. Oh, that was crazy. Graham, you didn't get your story out. That was just before I went live, right? About contemplating taking a leak on the King show the other night.
Well, no, we were live when I said that.
We're live.
Oh, were you? Okay. Yeah, that was crazy. Yeah,
drugs.
You do it. Grabs it like this, and you just hear that sound. You know the and he's just like,
well, that's what I'm worried about. You know, a hollow beer can, and as Dan.
Well, you could turn your mic off.
A little slot there, and it's sharp metal, and I was afraid.
You're gonna cut your down,
you're gonna
decircumcise yourself.
Yeah.
I did a really good conversation for you not to want to leave it.
Yeah, I did take a piss early on before I learned how to do these YouTube channels, which is I'm still working on that part.
Yeah, we noticed.
I was live on Ethan's show, and I just got up. I had the headphones on and everything. The bathroom was closed, and I just walked over there and I was just pissing, and you could hear like the piss hitting the porcelain. Oh. And they were like, "What the hell is that?"
You didn't turn your mic off?
I didn't know, man.
Hot mic. Hot mic. Work the shaft. Work the balls.
Well, this was also pre like StreamYards, because StreamYards is almost intuitive. Like it's pretty easy to work and operate. But then I was like, I had no idea what was going on.
That's great, bro.
And also I was kind of like this because the headphones, so I was kind of like taking a piss because
oh my god, he didn't want to miss anything, so he kept his headphones on.
I left my headphones on. Yeah, I didn't want to miss out on anything.
Oh. Well, apparently we missed out a lot with the Mike S. Miller stuff, so maybe it was something pretty riveting. Yeah. Watching last night, I'm like, holy crap, when did all this stuff happen?
I know.
Yeah, how was that? I went to go watch it, and the stream was taken down.
Oh,
I think it's because he played a music video all the way through.
Okay.
That's the only thing I could think of.
Is this Kings last night you're talking
about?
Yeah, it was awkward and uncomfortable.
Was it?
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
It was. Yeah, it was.
I caught like little pieces, but my stepson had surgery this morning. He had like a little cyst in his ear, so I was running all around.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was. I think it's a good thing that was taken down.
Yeah, everybody really
uncomfortable.
Oh man,
right?
It was. Put it this way. I think I commented at one point saying, "It's so cold right now. I can feel it through the YouTubes. I need a jacket."
The thing, where I caught a piece of it. I think Ethan was talking about like it's weird having someone from the prequels and the sequels on the same thing, and then Mike Miller said, "You're the sequels, Shane." And then John,
that's right,
quipped something back at him.
He did say that to Shane.
Yeah, and I was like,
Miller was on the show last night.
Mike Miller was,
came on. He's got a new YouTube campaign.
Yeah, you have Aaron to thank for that.
Well, no, he messaged me and said, "Hey, send me the link." And I checked with Ethan. I said, "You want me to send him the link?" And he's like, "Yeah, do it." So I did. And he came on, and
after that, Aaron
Shane
was
apparently Shane's got something against Mike too, because he was very kind of cold and
because I think Mike went on just to talk. Mike went on thinking that he was going to promote his campaign.
Okay,
and then he kept saying, "Do you want me to get his partner on? You want me to get I can send him the link. And that was not on. John wasn't having that. He was just
Malin. The rapport between Malin and Miller is of legend, from what I
know. In the early days, we would always go on Mike's show because Mike would stream almost like 24 hours a day. So he was always streaming. So, John and I would go on there all the time. And there was a little bit of chemistry going there. That's where that tank heist came from. Tank Heist came out of that. What was that guy's name? Elliot Fernandez, who was a really good talent,
He's a nice guy too. Elliot's a good guy.
Was on that
I know
stream.
him. I think, yeah.
Hey, Art.
Yeah.
Very, very serious question. I have to point in the right corner with the magic wand. Classic Venus drawing pencil, a 2B. I know Frazetta like these. What's tonight's show about, Art?
Yeah. Go back to last night's show. I missed out all this.
This is a recap.
I was too busy watching the Buffalo Bills kicking more ass.
They sure did. I saw the score.
Yeah.
Hey, did you like that jersey picture I sent you?
Oh, that crooked,
No.
crooked.
The Scott Norwood pick.
Norwood jersey.
Wide right.
The numbers and his name is on the right of the jersey.
Well, Dan, I'm glad you asked.
Wide right.
I'm glad you asked, Dan, because what we're going to talk about is pissing in various objects. Bottles, cans,
people.
Yes.
Oh, that's on, not in.
We all went to college, didn't we?
That wasn't in the memo.
That was a story for another time.
Yeah,
So
so
we're
we're
going to talk about crazy deadlines, like nightmare deadlines, just fun, crazy stories about what we had to do to get certain books done and get them to our publishers. And so I got a few. I know you guys do as well. So I thought this would be fun to get into. So I'm thinking that, I'm sure we at least have 2 stories. And then maybe at the end, if we still have time, we could do like some quick, just little funny asides, which I have plenty of those as well. I have my epic deadline stories, but I have my little funny asides as well. So are we all clear? No more piss talk?
We're all clear.
Yeah. No more piss talk.
No more piss talk with the clear.
I don't know. That shit just seems to pop up sometimes.
That's
the shit or the piss.
Oh, jeez. Here we go.
the shit will be on the next.
When is this show ever stayed on topic for very long? I mean, it veers pretty regularly.
Yeah. Well, we're on.
Not when you host a game show, it doesn't.
That's right, because I demand discipline.
I demand discipline.
Aaron, it's 7:15 here right now. Let's make a vow that by 7:45 we're somehow going to bring Star Trek into this conversation.
Absolutely.
No. Okay. All right. We're good.
Yeah, you're just gonna bore everybody.
There are 4 lights.
There
are 4 lights.
People love Star Trek.
Star Trek 5, best movie.
Intelligent people.
Oh yeah, dude. Who doesn't love the Force?
And then right after the Force. And then right after that, Billy will start talking about Duran Duran, and we'll really lose him.
Oh, yeah.
Union of the Snake is their best song. Fight me.
Okay. All right. Well, first deadline epic tale. Mr. Cordrath himself, Andy Smith. What do you got for us?
I haven't had too many, but I did have. I've had a few, and the first one that came to mind. I just started working at Marvel, and it was after I got done doing Quasar. I did a couple issues, or I did 3 issues of Silver Surfer, and somewhere in there, they asked me to do an issue of Warlock. And I said, yeah, that'd be great. Jim Starlin's the writer. So it's the first time I worked with Jim. And they said, that's great. We need it in 2 weeks. And there was no way I could pencil a book in 2 weeks. Just no way. And I said, well, I can do my best to try and get it done, but I'm sure I can do it, do breakdowns and get it done. And they're like, all right, that's fine. Breakdowns are fine. We'll just get somebody to finish it. And I want to say Al Milgram was one of the finishers, and I think there's a couple other people.
He's decent.
And yeah, it was a rush.
I'm being nice, Andy.
Well, that he's decent. He didn't say.
No, well, here's the thing. He's done so many things that I loved as a kid.
Oh yeah,
yeah. I have to be like, he's decent.
No, I agree with you.
Great, but it's just that he was like a Vinnie Coletta. He was their go-to guy.
Yeah.
To crank the shit out. But he had talent. If he managed his career better.
I loved when he did the whole Sniglets thing, and when he was in Princess Bride, he was awesome.
Did he look like him?
Which reminds me, there was this episode of Star Trek Graham will know.
Remember that one, Aaron? Yes.
Stop it.
There it is.
Matter of fact, I do recall.
Wow,
that.
we did it with 15 minutes, half an hour to
Art,
spare.
you have the power to mute anybody you want whenever you want.
So Al Milgram, they were going to hand it off to Al Milgram.
That's right.
Yeah,
So no, so I think
comics, Al Milgram or
Vinny. I want to say that they were like, okay, that's fine, you know, but if you can get it done before 2 weeks, that would be good. So I want to say I got the book done in like 8 days. And it, you know, I was doing like 3 pages or so a day of breakdowns on the stuff. And there were still, you know, characters I haven't drawn before. So it was looking up reference and working with Jim Starlin. So it's like, oh my God, I got to jam this thing out. It was during one of the Infinity things. I don't know if it was Gauntlet or War, but it was one of those crossovers, if I remember right. And, you know, for being early on in my career, it was just stressful for me having to do that. But after that job, I realized I'm not doing that again. And I think I did breakdowns on a couple more jobs after that, but it wasn't 3 a day. I think I was doing like maybe 2 pages a day of breakdowns on the other jobs that I did. And the only reason I ever did breakdowns anyhow for those few jobs was just because they were like, well, we need to get it done and we want you to do it. And I was like, all right, well, I'll do breakdowns. And I would try to ask at least for a certain, you know, like I worked with Bob McLeod once and John Beatty once doing breakdown where I did breakdowns.
Those guys are more than decent, especially Beatty.
Yeah.
So you know that didn't come out bad, but that's the first one that came to mind. So
how early on in your career was that?
First 2 years.
Okay, that's
so it wasn't super early, but it was, you know, still early.
Yeah, but I mean, to have the chops to be able to do 3 pages of breakdowns a day, that's pretty insane. That's yeah.
And it was right to the board. I always did thumbnails. We were talking about this before the stream. I always do thumbnails, and then from the thumbnails for that job, I would just take out the, you know, Marvel board, roll out the panel borders, looking at my thumbnail, and then just start drawing. So
I always hate talking to Andy because he's always so functional. Like, I wanted like some serious like craziness with your deadlines and stuff. It's like, no,
dude, I don't. I mean,
it was no big.
You're
deal.
gonna hate my stories.
I mean, the only, and I know we're going to do more than a few rounds, but this is like a half, so I'll just squeeze it in because that was such a short one. Oh. You know, the only other thing, when I first started at CrossGen in 2000, I was inking Bart, and we were doing a book called The First, and Bart did this poster, and he drew it like 14 by 17. You know, he drew it like 2-page spread size. Actually, it was a 2-page spread. And I want to say he did one of those down shots where you didn't see much of the figures at all. All the characters were looking up. So it was a bunch of head and shoulders, but there had to be a couple hundred on it. And I just remember it had to get done. So I got in, you know, started working on it in the morning. I stayed till about 5 a.m. the next day to finish it. So just worked from like, say, 7 a.m. straight to like 4 a.m. or something to get it done.
Now we're talking. I did a Joe Quesada, like X-Men, like I guess it was a poster, and then they later used it for Taco Bell or something like that.
Oh, sweet!
It had every X-Men character on it, and it was bigger than my drawing board. I mean, a lot bigger than my drawing board. So I had to ink it standing up. And it was like, like you're saying, Andy, it was a crazy ass deadline. So it's like every X-Men character drawn by Joe Quesada that needed to be done like in like 2 days or some crazy deadline like that. So indeedy do. So what do we have, Graham Nolan? What kind of craziness did young Graham coming up the ranks at DC Comics have to go through?
Well, like I said, you're going to hate my stories because
I already do.
You know, I always worked regular hours. You know, I got up in the morning and I worked till dinner time, ate dinner, and then went back to work, knocked off by 9 o'clock, you know, spent time with my family. And I never in my entire career did an all-nighter.
Oh,
Yep.
Really?
I did it as a student at the Kubert School
Yeah.
a couple times.
yeah.
And it wasn't for me. It was counterproductive because I was better off getting rest and then coming in fresh than dragging out and burning the candle at both ends, because you end up paying for it later on.
Mhm.
So I learned that early on not to do that, but to time management things.
Yeah, but how did you learn that? Like, you didn't do it and then learn from the mistakes. You went into it knowing that wasn't something you wanted to do. And how did you know that?
Well, Kubert told us.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, that's
Yeah.
Graham nailed it, because that's why I never did any all-nighters, because I don't know how Joe worded it, but the basic gist is, let's say you have a job that is going to take you, 20 hours to do, right? Well, I mean, if I start working at 8 in the morning and, I eat lunch, I eat a dinner, and at 10 o'clock at night, I'm just beat. I want to go to bed.
Right.
And then just get up around 6.
Yeah, get up early,
6:30
start fresh.
and start fresh.
Yeah.
Because if you just work all the way through, when you think about it, it almost cancels each other out.
Because your next day is chewed up.
Because your next day's toast. It's just gone.
Yeah.
So I agree with Graham. I think it was Joe that probably banged that into your head too.
Well, that was cool about
and
like
John
that you guys
Belton.
went up the ranks at the school, because I had to go through the hard the school of hard knocks because
Right.
I didn't have a mentor. So it's pretty interesting to see that you guys kind of learned that experience through the school.
Yeah.
And you learned what not to do and how to pace yourself. And that stuff's invaluable, because there's one thing learning a curriculum, but these things, you guys,
these are real world things.
right? You didn't have to actually experience them firsthand, and you guys were smart enough to learn from them, so you didn't have to, go through it yourself.
Mm-hmm. Hey, as Citizen Ronan says, Graham is boring, but Citizen Ronan, all of Graham's books shipped on time.
There you go.
I may be boring, but all my shit was in the stores when they were supposed to.
Yeah, but let's not take this stuff too personal. Art was stupid. Yeah, let me just clarify, Andino. Stupid and highly successful.
That's right. That's right.
Stupid is as stupid does.
So, I mean, I'm prefacing this to say that, I'm organized and that I always hit my deadlines and all that kind of stuff. But that's not to say that there weren't some times where stuff was thrust upon me, either by editorial or by life situations that made those deadlines very hard.
Right.
The first one that comes to mind was, I think, my third job ever at DC Comics. It just so happens I had just gotten married and was on my honeymoon, and the damn thing was due.
Of course.
So I had to do this story, which I had no interest in doing. I had other things on my mind.
Of course.
And
Fishing.
That's probably a better story right there.
oh, it's definitely a better story. And I just, I cranked that thing out, and it looks horrible. I came across a copy of it recently when I was going through some old folders. And it just said I could see every shortcut I took just to get it done.
Did you use all the Wally shortcuts?
I didn't even know them then. I made up my own, But so that was the first one where I just kind of went, I don't care. I got to get this shit out, and it shows. It was terrible, and thankfully, I mean, it was early on in my career, and it didn't harm me. But I know what you're saying when an editor offers you something, when you're at a certain point in your career, you say yes. And you don't think about. In fact, Joe, that's another thing that Joe taught us. When a job comes your way, say yes first, and worry about how you're going to get it done later. You can always farm out things. Have people do fill in blacks. Whatever. To get it done. And that was valuable information too.
Because you wanted to hold on to that money, and you knew that these opportunities don't come, all the time. So especially when you start, you're just grabbing on to just about everything. Yeah.
Yeah, and if you turn them down, they might not come back again.
Yeah.
Because the guy who says yes and delivers for him is going to be his go-to. You know, and he's
until that editor gets let go and a new editor comes in and doesn't know who you are.
That's right. And
that's exactly right. And therein lies what we talked about with who was the anchor we just mentioned?
Vince
Al Milgram.
Al Milgram.
Al Milgram. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, he worked for everybody. He saved so many asses, and then as as editorial change and stuff, you know, those favors were no longer owed. You know,
yeah,
that's right.
And that happened to me too. Like I would step in and save asses and fix jobs and get things done in time, and you know, they owed me, and then those guys would either get shit canned or leave, and then now, you know.
And then there's a whole new breed of editors that don't even care about that code or the conduct.
Right.
You can save their asses and they don't really care. And then they boot you off the next month. Like that's the thing is there's very little honor. I've noticed
loyalty.
And the danger of doing that is that it stifles your career, because when that new guy comes in, he's only judging you not by your loyalty, not by what you did for somebody else, but by the work that he can see. And that could be that stuff you hacked out and cranked out. He doesn't know what the deadline is. All he knows is that he looks at it and he doesn't like it.
Yep.
That's why you're only as good as your last job. And we used to do big runs on books like this title. You know, we were on it for years.
Yeah.
When you do that, there's give and take. So the editor knows what you did last month, what it took to get that book done. And then he knows that, I mean, sometimes like a good editor will they'll give you extra time on the next deadline.
That's right.
Somehow they figure that out, give you a couple extra days because they know, you know, how hard you worked on the previous issue. That's why the monthly schedule and keeping a team on a monthly title is really, it's important, and it's kind of a lost thing in comics right now.
And there was a reward system too. Like if you were delivering regularly on a monthly book, and then let's say this idea for a graphic novel or a prestige book comes up, you know, and he gives you that, you know, it gives you a break, gets a fill in for 2 or 3 issues, so you can work on this more prestigious, more larger royalty based book. You know, it was a thank you. And also, you know, you knew they were going to promote it, so you're going to get more face time, you know, out at the stores and stuff. But you know, there is none of that loyalty now. You know,
as we're talking, I just realized why I've spent almost 40 years in this industry, because there was stuff like that happened the majority of the time. Now it's kind of it's non-existent. But yeah, I mean, there was humanity, I guess. There was humanity involved. You weren't just like a cog in the machine. You were just expected to deliver, and that was it. I mean, they understood. And a lot of those editors, too, they had either tried to do comics at some point or were doing comics. So they understood what it entailed to get one of these books done every month, which is a shit ton of work.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So Billy, what do you got for us? Deadline, crazy nightmares.
Okay, let me think. Well, I guess I can start with, you know, and hey, this is why do your own books, because I have a nightmare deadline story, but it's not really entertaining. But see, even Art just left.
Well, you know,
Art's like, oh God, not entertaining.
No, listen,
this one again.
We might hear him pee. Hold on.
That's right.
Drip.
Yeah, I'll tell my other one.
Well,
later.
I was just going to say, Billy, it didn't stop Graham from telling his story.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I'll tell you. Oh, Graham, you see that?
Damn.
Well, I can tell the one. So, I'll tell a deadline story of getting back in the day when She #1 had to come out.
Yes,
I had to get it out. They were printing it for me for nothing, because if I had told that story, you guys remember I had met Fred Pierce from Valiant. He put the good word in for me to print my book, and that I would pay them as soon as I got paid from Diamond and Capital City and Hero. You know, as soon as I got paid, I would pay them immediately on his word. But because of that, and not like it is today, it's not unlike it is today. You got a schedule. Okay, we need this book on December. It was like March. God bless. You know, March 16th. We need it. God bless. We need this book. Oh, we have you slotted because The next week is all the Valiant books are coming. So then if I don't get this book in on time up at Sparta at Spartasburg, Illinois, I think that's where they're from, where Sparta Printing.
Sparta, Illinois. Yep.
Sparta I'm fucked, and I'm pushed back a month or so. Right. So I'm struggling to do it now. If I can share my screen real quick. Yes. I want to show you where I live. Now, I live next to a town called Forest Hills in Queens, right? And beautiful, really rich area. Let me just get some images, and I'll share my screen if that's okay.
Billy was always good at show and tell. I bet you scored.
Yeah, well, I figured let's do that. Let's do a little bit of sharing here. Yeah. So Forest Hills, it was in Arthur. All right, so this is Forest Hills, Queens. Let me move it over here so I could see.
Okay, you want me to add this?
Oh, yeah, share, please. Yeah. So here's Forest Hills. It's this stunning little Tudor city. There it is right there, outside of New York City. And it's got mansions and all these rich people live there. And it's just stunning.
That's where the U.S. Open is, right?
Yep. The Open used to be there. Now it's moved because it got too big. But like this is the houses. So I lived in Regal Park, which is right next to Forest Hills. So I'm rushing with all this film. I pick up the film up at Comic Color out east, right? And I take the train in, right, to Long Island from wherever it was to the Forest Hills train station. And I'm running with this film to get it to the FedEx office by 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock, and was closing. I get there, they close it right in front of me. Oh. And I was I had no money. All my savings was to send this overnight that I had saved. It cost me probably $200 to send this overnight, the film, to get to Sparta so they could print my books. So I'm sitting there and I'm holding this giant box of film that is like, whatever the film would look like. It's probably like, I don't know, what is it, like 8 sheets of comics?
Yeah.
Maybe like 5 feet by 4 feet, something like that. And they close it on me. Oh. And I'm like, oh my God. Well, I'm dead. It's over. Everything's over. All of a sudden, these two nice men, an older gentleman and other guys seem like my age, show up that they've got, and they're stressing. They pull up in a Lincoln. It was a Lincoln. They pull up, and it was they had to ship something out too, because the younger of the gentleman, there was a father and a son. He has to get something to Los Angeles, a contract, which I learned later on, to the thing. So they close it on them. Now he's got to get it done. We're banging on the door. They don't help us. The guy comes to the window and says, the one in New York City on 34th Street and West Side Highway closes at 9. This is at 8. If you can get there, you can do it. And it might have even been the 17th St. Patty's Day, something crazy like that.
God, I've done this stuff, man.
So I'm like, oh my God. So I have no way to get there. How am I going to get there? And all of a sudden they're like, well, we got to go. And he goes, hey kid, you want to come with us? We'll take you in. I said, sure. So I'm talking to this guy. The kid's name is, I'm in the back seat holding the giant. What is that? Oh, it's film. I tell them the whole story, they're laughing. Funny guys, right? So the one guy's name is Jerry and the other guy's Ben, right? So we're sitting there.
Ben and Jerry. Ben and Jerry.
Right. The jokes came. Can we stop again? I'll buy you guys ice cream afterwards. I had no money to buy them ice cream. They're like, no, don't worry about it. We get there. So we're driving. We finally get to there. And they lived in Forest Hills. They get to, now I'm sitting, I'm like,
Billy, let me get this. This is Prater 7 for $5. Thank you so much for the
please.
My mom's from a town, what is that, Marissa?
Yeah,
next to Sparta. She worked at a print shop. So
a print shop. She probably worked there. Yeah, they made my comics. So,
small world.
So then, right? So we're in the car, and the Ben and Jerry jokes start, the comic stuff, and I'm like, do we know each other? I'm saying to the older man, right? And I'm like, he goes, I don't know, you might know me, or you might know my son. And I'm like, what? He goes, I'm an actor, right? And I'm like,
no.
Oh, yeah, because my son is an even better actor than me, and that's why we're driving to this fucking city, because he's got to get a contract to his agency because he got an offer in a movie, right? So I'm like, oh my God, that's so cool, whatever. So we finally do it, and I'm like, I know this guy. How the hell I know this guy? We get there. We finally make it right before it closes. This guy was very commanding. He was probably my height. I got molested by the man. We go in there. Finally, I drop the stuff off. I think I gave him cash for them to ship it for me. They take care of it. They give me a ride home. And as I leave, I say to him, well, thank you very much, Mr. Stiller, and good luck to you.
Oh,
and
see,
and I said, I hope you're gonna make it.
Ben and Jerry.
Ben and Jerry Stiller.
Oh
I've
my!
never tell this story before.
No, because it's a lie. I just did it for
Just made
Aaron.
it up. And
But I
you're
did
saying
have
I
to
was
get
a
the stuff in. I did.
You just broke Aaron.
Yeah. No, I just made that. No, but a funny story is that is that we did.
No. You lost your chance.
No, you lie like a teen sensation.
Wasn't that great? Thank you.
Yeah,
That was the
Billy.
greatest lie I ever told in my life. So, but I'm watching Aaron the whole time like this, trying to figure out. And when I say Ben and Jerry, I thought you guys would get it. But no, but I did meet Ben on the subway because me and my Peter Gutierrez were talking about She, the comics, and he was with some guy, and the guy said, "Oh, you guys do She? I love She." So that's that. But someone did give me a ride into the train. Yeah.
I'm sorry, Billy. I don't trust you. Anything you say now.
Yeah.
Liar.
That was a good lie, though, wasn't it? Was that nice?
Yeah.
Very, very convincing.
I'll tell you, Billy, that lie was so flawless. It was absolutely frightening.
I worked on that all day today.
You did.
I did because as soon as I said I got a story for you, Aaron, and then it just come in. And
I worked for that.
First, it was Mickey Mantle had to drop off baseballs. They were signed baseballs that were going somewhere. And it moved to
that'd be awesome. Billy actually wrote it as a screenplay.
And I'm like, no, Ben and Jerry Stiller. No one would.
My ride with Ben and Jerry. It'd be like my dinner with them.
Yeah, so Ben and Jerry kind of threw you off. That was my little what is that called?
Well, it's a red herring.
My red herring was Ben and Jerry.
Quite a craft there, Mr.
With the Lincoln and living in Forest Hills. I don't know if they live in Forest Hills.
Actually, all it did is make me want ice cream. So
yeah,
thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So how about your lie, Aaron? Do you have a lie for us?
I'm unprepared, but I do have a pretty amazing story. Okay, so most of my deadline situations, I mean, we've all had it in comics, right? And I've had 2-week turnarounds before and things like that where you killed yourself. But most of my memorable ones were when I was working in commercial art, right? Because those of us who worked in commercial art, it's always Friday afternoon at 4:00. And of course, I was the new guy in the studio. Oh, this needs to be they need this by Monday at 9 a.m. And you're like, well, I guess I'm not going out tonight. And I got this. We lived in, I didn't live there, but the art studio I joined was like this 2-story Victorian, right? Over in, still on the west side of Portland. So it's Southwest Portland. And, it was near.
This is it, right?
It's it right there. Yeah, exactly.
Sorry.
Oh, guy
you're saying. Oh, okay.
The guy that ran the
Forest Hills look like the Frankenstein village. It's like a Tyrolean.
Theodore Roosevelt actually, that train station there. Theodore Roosevelt christened it.
It's perpetually in a state of Oktoberfest.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Forest Hills is beautiful.
Like the villagers when they're angry at their politicians to come down with their pitchforks.
It's gorgeous, man. Forest Hills is gorgeous.
Burn Frankenstein. All right, Aaron. Sorry,
Aaron.
Sorry.
Yeah. So anyway, I was watching Star Trek one night.
Fire!
That's no lie, Billy.
That is no lie. That is the truth.
That's true.
No, I got this. I had to do this poster for this tech company, and it was big. It was like 24 by 36, and this came in on Friday, and it had to be done Monday morning, right? So like I said, the art studio that I work.
I love how you stop, Aaron. You're like,
I haven't even started the story yet, and I'm getting called to the carpet.
You're already getting harassed.
Okay, so so we had like so you can imagine it was an old house. And so there was like, we had the bedrooms or whatever, the rooms were turned into studios, right? But we would have we had couches and things in our studio so that if we had to crash, we could. And so I knew I was going to have to work the whole weekend. And so am I echoing? Is that me?
I don't know. I muted my mic, but I was hearing it too.
Okay, is it me? Am I echoing right now?
No, it's Andy. It's always Andy.
Okay,
it's not me.
Always Andy. Always.
No.
Okay, so I get this job, and it's like, looking at a blank piece of paper that's 24 by 36 and going, okay, this has to be penciled, inked, and colored by Monday. It's a good thing I was in my early 20s, right? So I literally stayed there the entire weekend. But what happened was, so Friday night, I'm working, and I'm upstairs, and there's a front door that everybody comes into, and we had a desk set up there where people would come in, and there was a side door off to the side street, which was just below my window, just a little bit off below my window. So the entire house is dark except for my studio has the light on, and I got windows up there and everything, right? So I don't know, it was probably midnight, 12:30ish, somewhere in that neighborhood. And there's this knock on the side door down below where I'm working, right? I'm like, what the? And so I'm looking out the window trying to see if I could see, and I can't see anybody because there's a little overhang. And I'm like, I'm not going to, we're in Portland, right? And even back then it wasn't dangerous like it is now, but still. So they keep knocking, and I'm like, son of a bitch. So I go down there, I had to go down the steps and through the lobby and everything. And so I go to the side door, and there's this chick, I don't know, maybe 30 something, but she's got this mini skirt on, but she looks kind of trashy, right? And I'm just
ooh.
I already called bullshit.
Excuse me?
Like hot trashy?
Well, is there any other kind?
Yeah.
I've seen them.
No, I made that up. See, I had this all set up, and Billy trumped me by doing a lie before I could tell my lie. So I can't even go on with it. You guys have already got me on the
I knew it was
Are you
BS.
serious?
Yeah. Oh, see, I had Billy. I should have kept going. I had Billy reeled in. No.
Well, it was just getting good, man.
Did you get to deadline?
Andy jumped in and said, I called BS. So I figured, okay, I'm done. They already know.
As soon as you brought in the chick and the trashy, I'm like, I'm out.
Yeah.
This doesn't ring true.
I do have a real story about something like that. It happened at my house when I was living with my parents, but it had nothing to do with work.
I'm just going to
let's make up stories from this point on.
Yeah, this is just going to be the BS stream.
No, but the truth is, I had to do this 24 by 36 poster. I had Friday night, Saturday, Sunday, and it had to be done at 9 a.m. And I literally spent all 3 days I had this couch that I could crash on. And thankfully, I'm not a cat guy. I hate cats, but we had a very cool tabby. It was orange and white ones, right? That was a stray that had kind of stayed kind of hung around the house, and we sort of adopted it and everything. It was a very cool cat. So I would be ordering every night Domino's, and they'd be delivering at 12:30 at night. It wasn't a chick though. And so we'd be getting pizza, and it was just me and the cat eating pizza. I was working on this thing, and I would take a couple hour nap, and then I would get up and work on this stinking poster. And I mean, for my money, it was a piece of crap, but I did get it done by 9 a.m. and it went out the door. And that was like a regular occurrence. I was constantly getting Wyden and Kennedy, which is a really big ad agency. I don't even know if they are anymore, but they used to be. They had all the Nike accounts and the Bud Light commercial accounts, all that Coors Light, all that stuff. They had all the big accounts right in Portland. And they would call us.
Did you get to draw Spuds McKenzie?
No, I did do I had a Hulk. Okay, get a load of this. They came in with this. They wanted storyboards for these commercials, right? And then they would take them into their committee 9 a.m. Monday morning, and they'd go through them and say, that sucks. Okay, that works. That doesn't. They had this commercial where Bruce Banner this was like Miller Lite. It was a Miller Lite commercial.
Okay.
And so he's like in this motel, like, yeah, like drinking beer in a bathtub, as I recall. And somehow he turned into the Hulk, and the cops show up, and it was supposed to be kind of like a Psycho thing, but it turned out to be the Hulk. It was really dumb, and it didn't make much sense to me, but it was kind of funny because I hadn't broken into comics yet, and here I was doing a Miller Lite storyboard for a Miller Lite commercial with the Hulk in it.
Okay.
But that happened constantly, where I was working the weekend and sometimes very, very late to get those storyboards done so they could be delivered. And it wasn't like we could just scan them and put it on the computer. They had to have a courier come pick them up, take them over to the commercial art building, or the advertising offices, so we would have to actually have them done by like 8:30 and have a courier pick them up at 8:30 and take them over to the building. So that was like,
yeah, those were the days where you had to figure in transportation time, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, well, this has to be done. It has to be over there by 9. You couldn't be done by 9. It had to be over there by 9.
How long did it take your horse and carriage to get there, Art?
Well, that's the thing. It snowed out that night, so it was like I had a horse and carriage through the snow, which made it even worse.
Very romantic. Merry Christmas.
Yeah, so me and what I was going to tell you about the story was this trashy chick comes to the door. And she was going to turn out to be a hooker, and her guy that John was looking for, and she was hiding out, and I was like thinking I was going to die.
Trashy chick.
Andy had to jump in and spoil it. So
I couldn't help it.
Everything.
No,
I
you
do.
spoiled it bringing in the hooker story because it was totally unbelievable.
Okay, here's a story though. So I got back from film school and I was living at home, and I just started working at this studio, but I was still living at home. I hadn't enough money to, move out. And I was up watching probably Star Trek and reruns, and it was late, like, Saturday night or something. And
wait, I have to read this, Aaron.
Okay, go ahead.
Aaron tells stories like Bill Cosby, but with less. So seriously, so my parents are asleep, right? I'm watching TV or whatever, and that's the only light in the house. It's like although actually I think I'd left the porch light on, and that was my downfall. So how should we say, this sort of trashy, unattractive woman is knocking on the front door. And so I open the door and I'm like, yeah. And she's like, oh, I got in a fight with my boyfriend and he booted me out of the car and like down the street, like a half a mile, and took off and left her. And so she's like, can you give me a ride to my house? And I'm like, you're looking around going, this is a joke, right? But I didn't know what to do. So I said, yeah, okay, sure. I said, just stay out there. I wouldn't let her in the house though, right? So I got my car keys.
Wait. Didn't you say ass, grass, or cash? Nobody rides for free, man.
Nobody rides for free.
Dude, you didn't want any part of this, right? I was being a good Samaritan.
Hey, don't judge our tastes.
Yeah, man.
So I take her, she says, it's not far from here, my house. I'm like, oh,
sorry, Aaron, everybody's turning on you, man.
Here, and the story ends with, and this is how the story ends. And then Aaron goes, and that's how I met Shelley.
That's how they all end. And that's how I met Shelley.
Did you draw the girl on a napkin in the car?
It was not, but I ended up having to drive her like 15 miles from my house in the middle of the night, right?
You know what I mean?
And so we get up, we're like, I don't know, we were, like I said, we were way up in like Portland someplace, and we're like, there's a 7-Eleven, and she's like, I think I live like, and she couldn't remember where she lived, right?
Oh,
and so finally I'm like, you know what? Here's a 7-Eleven. I'm dropping you off here. You can call somebody, they can bring you home. And she's in the car going, I really want to make this up to you. I really. She says, I really. What did she say? How did she say it? I really freshen up nice, or I really,
Oh shit!
Oh, God.
And I go, yeah, I'm sure you do. But
She was like,
no
for
thanks.
you, I'll buy a new douche. Oh,
So anyway, and so I dumped her off at 7-Eleven and got the heck out of there. And I remember
you said you dumped her off. You didn't like just nicely.
Didn't you even get like a big gulp or a Slurpee or anything, man?
she wanted a big gulp.
Yeah, I know. I got
And
out
a
of the car. I got as fast as I could. And it was so funny. I told this story to my parents. And my mom was like,
You told that to your parents?
She's
well,
like,
no,
for you, I'll put my
living at
teeth
their
in.
house. I was living at their house. And so I'm telling my mom this story about, and she goes, some strange woman comes to the door and it's like, after midnight, you give her a ride home and you don't tell anybody. What if she'd killed you or something? And I'm like,
Aaron, a question comics has distilled your story down. He says, I was watching Star Trek, then I had to drive this girl 15 miles.
Oh, yeah, I like this one.
The distillation of that story.
I know. There was
Wait.
no payoff.
Tech
The
Zombie.
hooker story was better that I was going to lie about. So
Tech Zombie says, I just took a 20-minute nap and Aaron is still going.
You know, we gotta have bro awards.
Dude, I made I turned
ever.
everybody into Keown on the stream.
Damn.
I was just gonna say though. I mean, the beauty of Aaron is it's like it starts off like the worst story you've ever heard, and then it turns into the funniest damn story you've ever heard.
Yeah.
Because it's worse than you thought it was.
I haven't laughed this hard in forever, man.
I know you guys are looking for a payoff, but you got to imagine me.
Oh yeah,
with this incredibly heinous woman, and it was horrifying. But here I was being trying to be a good Samaritan,
trying to be a gentleman.
Oh my God.
So you didn't take advantage of her.
Now, and listen, if she was hot and she said what she said, would you have let her, kiss the pee-pee?
I would have driven her all night trying to find her house. That's all I'm saying. So,
Oh, God.
yeah.
Well, see.
I had hair.
All right, Dan, top that.
Yeah, Dan.
Well, I'm not going to top anything. I'm just going to tell my truth. Listen,
This is my truth.
I'm probably I'm probably the yang to Andy and Graham's yang because I was self-taught and I grew up on a farm and had a very sort of militaristic father. I do great under pressure. Like I actually do better under pressure, which kind of sucks. I hate that. But the first time I had to deal with the crazy ass deadline, and Art walked away, so I need to share my screen, Art. But whatever. I'll talk about it first.
I think we lost Art on his own show.
Fucking host.
I think Art's giving up on his own show.
You're a host. He's like, oh, Frigg is talking. I can go walk off.
Dan, you just gave me the greatest idea for a story too.
Yeah, the under pressure guy,
Nazi chicken farmer.
Wait a second now. Wait a second.
Wow.
Nazi farmer.
I didn't see that one.
Listen,
Listen.
it's Reba Mi Papa and all that, but there are no Nazis in my family.
Are the cows milked, Daniel?
Milked? It's a Heil Faza. No.
The chickens are they fed?
Yeah, so there was a very early on in my career, there was this crossover with Valiant called Deathmate.
Oh shit!
And
I remember that.
It was a nightmare at Extreme Studios.
There you go. You remember this. Rob was late, and he was so late that Bob Layton had come to our studio, if I remember correctly. And anybody from Extreme that watches this can come and tell me otherwise. But as I recall it, Bob Layton came to the studio because Rob was behind on his part of it. And then Bob got because Bob, there was no guest office. There was no guest office. Bob got put in the supply closet to work. I'm not kidding. And so because Bob was inking Rob's pages, right? And so he got put in the closet. But the compression on Deathmate was so crazy that I was called in to do some pages, and I believe it was I mean it was such a pressure cooker. This is the first time it ever happened. I had to do it was either 8 or 10 pages. We'll find out when we look at it because I don't. This is one of those books I don't look at, but it's weird. It's one of those weird things because this was such an event, and they had put so much money into this project. That they did a Deathmate tour on both sides of the continent. Were you on it too, Art? Where we rode the bus?
I actually kind of backed out. I did the 2 covers.
Yeah.
But that's all I did for that book. And I really dodged a bullet because I was there when you guys were just trying to get that book out, man.
Is that the tour that Jimmy and Joe were on too, and Dan Panosian? And
that was my bus.
Okay.
That's where Casada and I learned to love each other. It's a love-hate thing, and but listen, so anyhow, the thing that was crazy about that thing was here's this giant project, and they got these tour buses, and they hired the road manager from the Rolling Stones to manage this tour, and we went from San Diego all the way up the coast of California. We were like the West Coast, and then there was a Midwest.
You know what the best part? Sorry to interrupt. The best part of that is the tour book. Like that was cool that you guys actually had a tour book. You know,
we had a tour book and all that. So, but what really sucked is that for my part, the reason I was on the bus, and I was only 20. I'd been in the studio like a year and a half at that point. The reason I was on the bus is because I worked on Deathmate Red. But the work I had done on Deathmate Red, I was like absolutely ashamed of because it was like it was either 8 or 10 pages that I did in 2 days, and it was the first time I ever had to do anything like that. You know, it was like what? So I'm going to share my screen. We're going to look at those pages together because it's been a long time, and
these are deadline pages. This is a
whatever. But we could. But look at this. You ready?
Yeah.
Okay, so
there's nothing on those pages.
Yeah, so this is a guy waking up, right? So that's page 1. Okay, but remember, I did all these in 2 days without sleeping. Okay,
that's a deadline page. Yeah.
This is page 2, 3. This was a double pager. This is page 4. This is page 5. A lot of page 6.
Who inked it?
7, probably Panosian or somebody. Maybe Norm, Danny. Page 8. Page 9. Page 10.
There you go.
10 pages. 10 pages in 2 days.
Wow.
So oh God, they're so bad. They're painful. Oh God, I can't look at them. Oh man! But you could see like all these shortcuts and these sort of like because it was like you got to fill 10 pages. So I was free to do things like big giant panels with just guys standing around because then they put all this prose on top of it. But this was crazy. But what I remember feeling after this was sort of like after I woke up, because it was like hardcore, it was like 2 days straight, was like I just did half a book in like one sitting, like it was over 2 days, but I was like, I just did half a book in one sitting. It's not great, but I just did half of it. It was like this, like
you did it.
Yeah, this weird mental thing.
Yeah, I mean, there is a certain satisfaction when you're done going, man, I just did that much work.
Yeah, John Sabal and Marla Alquiza were the inkers, says Blackjack. Thank you, man.
Okay.
Thank you so much. But it was one of those.
And they took a week on that, by the way.
Right. No, they were going just as fast.
And they were like, thanks, Dan, for saving us all that time.
That's right.
No, I was literally given. It wasn't like I was given the assignment and was like, "Yeah, I'm not going to do it." No, it was literally like, "We need these 2 pages." Let's say it was a Wednesday. We need these 2 pages by the end of Thursday night.
And the thing is, when you work in a studio like this, you can't say no, because you're letting everybody else in the studio
right.
down. So
That's right.
there's a real obligation to have all hands on deck when things like that happen. Yeah.
So what I ended up doing, because I know everybody's telling long ass stories. I know. What happened is I ended up doing that like a couple times. I ghosted people and that sort of thing. But there was a cable X-Force, cable X-Force Youngblood. I did a bunch of ghost pages on that just as quickly. And that was it was weird. It was kind of a rush, but at the same time, when I look back at them and I know that they're not the full potential, they're literally like this adrenaline riding a lightning bolt, and no caffeine. Of course, I always tell people, yes, I love things of this earth, and when I say of this earth, I mean it comes out of the ground naturally.
The herbs,
herbs and the fungus, but nothing else. So it was a crazy ride. It was like riding the lightning and getting it done, and when you're done, you're like, holy crap! But again, we're doing this tour. And people are like, "Can you sign my tour book and sign my Deathmate Red?" And every time I'd be like, I felt like an imposter. Like, why am I on this tour? Like, I gave you my worst shit ever. I mean, it was my best effort for the 2 days. It was literally my best effort for the time given, but not the case. I'm done, Art. You're gonna move on to yourself. You're muted.
The dog's got the squeaker toy.
Oh,
so I was going to take the toy away from the dog.
Good luck.
Hold on real quick. Talk among yourself. I'm going to get the dog.
Say goodbye to Art's
Talk
nose.
among yourself.
Yeah, that's right. He's going to come back like eating all over his face.
Limbless.
Wait, let's listen. Oh no, he's got it muted because that'd be.
But I mean, I'm always impressed by
I'm back
by the work of guys like Andy and Graham. And one time, when I was a kid, I didn't know about schools. Like all I knew about was that sort of kid draw this turtle, draw this pirate. Like, if I knew about Cal Arts, if I knew about the Kubert School, I probably would have made that my chief aim.
Well, the thing is, we were from the West Coast too, and there was nothing.
There was Cal Arts, but in the Bay Area,
there was hardly anybody that even did comic books on the West Coast.
In the Bay Area, see, I would have been like the Billy Tucci, because what we had was FITM, Fashion Institute of Design and Technology. We are merchandising in San Francisco. So like, when you said art school in the Bay Area, they're like, oh, there's FITM, and they didn't have like the AI, the Art Institute then. So as a kid, I'm like, How to Draw Comics the Marvel Way and the Andrew Loomis and George Bridgman and Bern Hogarth books, that was it. But you didn't learn, like, there was in How to Draw Comics the Marvel Way, they should have had like How to Keep a Job the Marvel Way. You know what I mean? Like,
no, because
I was Shoes editors.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so that should be a chapter.
Yeah, one of the things is be a New Yorker or be on that coast. It does help.
But then FedEx changed everything, and then the internet changed even more. What you got?
And now this show is changing the internet.
That's correct.
That's right.
World right now. Yes, Aaron. Very well said. Mine's just okay. It's like everything that could be done wrong in a career, I probably did it. But it's just it's the school of hard knocks. I wouldn't trade it for anything, because I got some very colorful stories and some pretty insane adventures. Hey, how you doing? Yeah, and so I was working on the X-Men. I think I said this. I'm not sure if I said this on the live stream, but there's something that happens is called inheriting a bad schedule. So I remember when I was working with Will Spertacchio on either like X Factor or one of those books early on, and we inherited a bad schedule. So we were always under the gun. We were never able to get ahead. So every month it was either like you treaded water or you got a little bit behind, but very rarely would you ever be able to get ahead. So we went, I don't know how many issues, but we managed to do that. And at the time, like Bob Harris and Marvel didn't want any fill-ins at all on these X books because they knew the sales were high on the books and things like that. So we just muscled through. So I remember, Wills driving from San Diego to where was I? I was in like Redondo Beach or somewhere. And so us working all nighters, and getting pages done. And if you guys
how
ever
far
want,
is that, Art? Because I don't have any sense of
it's about
3 hours,
2 hour drive, 2.5 hour drive. Yeah. And he would just crash. Yeah, he just crashed there. And so if you guys want to see some really interesting like deadline in process books, I think it's those early X Factors.
Are you serious? Those are so fucking good, dude.
Wait. What happens is at the beginning of the book, there's like 6 panels. And then about midway, it becomes 4 panels. And then by the end of the book, it's like 1 panel pages. Like Wills would just kind of whittle the story down into one visual for every page.
Wills told me something about beating deadlines one time. He said when the writer writes something, you're under crazy deadlines, and the writer writes 1,000 horses march towards our heroes. He says, pushing on a close-up going, oh, my God, 1,000 horses.
That's what he would do, like the screaming head, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Screaming head, yeah. And so but you know what? Those things are like blessings when you're like in a crazy deadline, because you realize that the penciler is there with you, when you're inking or doing finishes. So you realize that they're aware of it. And so they're cutting corners to help you cut corners. But anyways, so we're doing that. And then, I don't know if you guys know, but I was always kind of going back and forth, inking, Jim Lee or doing finishes on Jim Lee, and then, working with Wills. And so towards the end there, I was doing finishes. On those guys. So what they were doing is basically giving me just breakdowns, like outlines of the storytelling and the characters. So there would be no rendering, no shadows, no nothing. Excuse me. And I was very familiar with the style. Brought a few tricks to the style. So I felt, I was right there in step. So I started doing finishes on these books. And so at the beginning, it was like, yeah, you can do this. And it's kind of like Graham said early on, like if you pull an all-nighter, then it just compounds the next day and so on and so forth. So I learned, and I also felt like I had no choice, right? I had to do this. I had to make the best of it. So every day would just compound into the next day. So I think it was on when I was penciling and inking X-Men 13. I was so burnt out. I didn't even know how burnt out I was. Like, I had nervous breakdowns, all this stuff. I had no idea because I was pushing it so much, and I was just living for the deadline. That's it. There was nothing else existed. And so there was one night, and I'm working all night, and maybe this slowed things down, but I think in this case it helped. The Redondo Beach house, the townhouse, became just like the whole apartment became a studio. So Panosian came by, Bill Ray came by, just everybody came by, but they didn't come by to help me out with the deadline. They just came by to party, right? And so so there's Danny Mickey there, there's Trevor Scott, there's Chris Lewis, there's all kinds of people. And so we had the upstairs, the downstairs, and everybody got to work because there was going to be no party in that night, until the book was done. And so we're working. And then I realized that there's just no time to get this book to them by this date. Like we had it done, but we couldn't get it to New York because we're West Coast. So there was Delta Dash, which was same day. There was TWA Next. I think it was $100 a pop. And we had used that in the past, but we didn't have time for that. So Chris Lewis, if you know Redondo Beach, those are like South Bay beaches. They're real close.
405.
Yeah, they're real close to LAX. So Chris Lewis's dad worked for like TWA, and he said, I can fly standby on any flight I want. And I was like, oh shit, you could actually fly these pages directly to New York. And he said, yes. And I said, I'm not going to call you on this yet because there's still a chance that we could get it done. But as an ace in the hole, I had that. And of course, it went down to that time. And so we drove Chris to TW, to LAX. He got on the flight standby.
Chris's dad did, right?
No, Chris did.
Oh, because his father worked there, so he could do it.
Were you soaking the pages in like cocaine and then like shaking them out when they got there?
You don't want to know this shit.
Hey, Art, are you talking about X-Men 13?
It was X-Men 13,
Can you share my screen so we can show people artwork as you get?
Oh, yeah.
Do that.
All right.
Oh, I know this book. Yeah.
All right, carry on. I'll just be your art guy.
Yeah, this was the crazy, so I managed to get all the pencils done. So
now the cover was done, right? The cover was done.
Oh yeah. And most of the pages were done. So it was like the last 3 pages or something like that. But we did them all in one sitting. Like they were all done. Like I penciled like a few pages. I had ink assistant. I had good ink assistants. So Trevor Scott, Danny Mickey, Chris
Dan Panosian.
Yeah, Dan.
You drew this art? Okay, so you drew this.
Yeah.
And you, Dan, and a couple of other guys. Okay, and you did this like in a night or 2 days or something?
We did like the last 3 pages or something like that in one evening.
All right, I'm going all the way down.
Yeah, so the funny part about it is my wife was working, she worked at Northrop. So she had a normal 9-to-5 type job. So she's trying to sleep in the room right next to the studio upstairs. And so all this craziness is going on.
I have this book.
I still have it.
Yeah, so
I have it. I have it still, yeah.
The funny part about it is like we worked and partied all the way till the morning. So Pamela wakes up to go to work. And I don't know if you guys have ever seen Bill Ray. Bill Ray is this hulking, just this.
He's awesome.
Oh, dude, man. And he's all
so
good. And at the time, he was really disheveled. He had this long, stringy hair, and he's losing his hair. And he just looked, and we were all a mess because of the deadline. And so she walks out, and the hallway from the studio, it just kind of joins. So there's this door, and then it kind of joins together. And she just comes out, and she had no idea all this stuff was going on. She slept through it, and she sees Bill Ray. She's like, "Holy shit!" And then after she got home, she chewed me out. She goes, "Never stick me with this kind of situation again." And so, it was good times. It was good times. We got it done. And so, Chris, I'm sorry, I got to go back. I'm getting caught up in the art. Thanks for that.
Hey,
yeah,
Dave,
for that trip.
How is it that screen didn't have all the pseudo porn ads that Read Comics Online always has?
Pop-up blocker.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, there you go.
I got one of those too.
But anyways,
Comics Online. I don't even know what that is.
You can basically read any comic you want online. I use it for reference all the time
too. But I always get those shitty ads.
Yeah, you gotta block the pop-ups, man. Here, I type in Steve.
You guys want to see my puppy?
Look at Billy, look.
The end of the story, real quick. The end of the story is Chris. He got on standby. Oh, there's Pumpkin. He got on standby. He flew the pages actually directly to New York City. He got to the Marvel offices. I didn't think about it at the time, but he had to kind of sweet talk his way into the office because no one knew this was coming. They didn't know they knew nothing about it. So I wanted to keep it a surprise because I wanted Bob. I said, hand the box directly to Bob Harris and said, courtesy of Hack Shack Studios, right? And so I didn't want to telegraph it at all. And so then I told after he did that to have Bob give me a call. So somehow Chris got in there, handed Bob the box. Bob called me. He was not impressed. He was just like, it was just another day, right? All that shit, all that craziness to get those 3 pages done. And I thought this would really be cool. This would impress somebody. Hand delivering from California to New York, 3 pages in the same evening.
Hell yeah.
And he was just like, yeah, okay, we got the book done. All right.
Yeah. And then he goes to the editor-in-chief and says, I got it done, boss.
Yeah, that's right.
Pat himself on the back. Yeah. So that was pretty crazy. the extremes that we go through. So, Andy, do you have another story?
Well, yeah, like I said before, the last book I did for DC, Earth 2, which was right before Earth 2 ended, and a lot of books did. Then they launched the whole New 52 stuff. They hired me and they said, we want you to do these 6 issues. And I was like, oh, awesome. 6 months worth of work, 7 months, whatever. And, it had cool characters in that book. And they were like, oh, but it's already behind the 8 ball. And I was like, oh, all right. So the first issue I did, had a short sequence in the beginning. I think it was like 4 or 5 pages drawn by somebody else, and I did the rest. And then the next 4 issues, I did like maybe 10 pages, I think, in each issue. I think one actually, no, I did mostly 10. One issue, they broke it up into 4 chapters. So I did 1 chapter, so 5 pages. And in the very last issue of the book, I did the whole thing. And it was just like, and I could have done it all. And they said, you can do it all. And I said, if you want, I said, I'm not going to sacrifice the quality of the work I put out anymore, or I haven't in years. I said, I'm not going to start now. So basically I can pencil a page a day. So you tell me what the deadline is and I'll tell you how many pages I can do. So they're like, all right. And they would just get somebody else to do the rest of the book. Wow. And it's not really a deadline nightmare, huh?
I never had the cojones to do that, man.
Because you're only as good as your last job.
Right.
And I just didn't want to, to this day, that issue of Warlock. Oh, by the way, it was inked by Keith Williams. I checked. So it wasn't Al Milgram. It was Keith Williams. And, for what I gave him, he did a pretty okay job.
If I remember right, Keith Williams was pretty good, right?
Yeah, but he had I did breakdowns. He had to rush it out as well. I don't really know what style he was going for with it. It was very, I guess you'd say a lot of horizontal lines and stuff for the rendering. But anyhow, and that job still stuck with me, and just, it's one of those jobs, I'm sure we all have them, that just sticks with you. And I just
about 50 of those.
Yeah. And I've got a couple others. I mean, I did, another job real quick is they called me up, Marvel did. And this is when Stephen Platt was working on Cable. And they said, hey, we need like 7 pages done. And I said, well, if I do pencil and inks, I can get them done quicker. Because, if you need just 7 pages of pencils, I said, you're looking at it at least a week, 1 a day, just a solid week. I said, if I do pencils and inks, and then of course you got to send them to an inker, so it tacks on more time. And this was in the late 90s, so it wasn't, there was none of the blue lining yet, right. Just email them to the guy. It was all on the board. I said, if you want me to do pencils and inks, it'll probably take me 2 weeks. But that still saves you time.
Right.
With FedEx and stuff. So they're like, all right, that's fine. So I did pencils and inks, but on that job, I actually called up Bart and said, hey, do you want to lay out a couple of pages for me? Because if they're laid out, I can finish them in my style, no problem. So he did. I sent him the script and he did layouts for 2 pages out of the 6 or 7, whatever it was. The only thing that really torqued me off is the last page was a splash page. And I think just like we were showing, or Dan was showing in your X-Men, I think it was Strife. It was Strife that was in it, that big chrome dude and whatnot. And the last page was a big splash page of Strife, full figure and stuff. So, I had fun with that. And I was like, oh, I can't wait to see this in print. And then 2 kicking the balls, when the book came out, it wasn't, I don't render anything like Stephen Platt.
Right.
Right.
So they saw that and they were like, oh, well, let's try and make this look like Platt. So they gave it to Rodney Ramos. He was working in-house at the time at Marvel, and they gave it to him. And I guess his marching orders were, render it up to make it look more like Platt.
So wait, he inked over your inks?
Yeah, which pissed me off because
Didn't
it's
he
like
go by the name of Scum?
That's
no, Pond Scum was somebody else.
Pond
Okay.
Scum?
Yeah, that's somebody else.
Scum.
That's a guy that actually went to the Kubert school, whose
Scum's
real name
dog.
I can't remember. But anyhow, that's what
Scott.
pissed
His
me
name's
off
Scott.
because
and
Scott,
his brother's Ponzi scheme.
that's right. But what when you do art corrections, because we've all had art corrections done back in the day, they'd always do it on a paste up.
Yeah.
And then when you got it back, if you wanted to, you could just pull the paste up because it wasn't like really sticky glue.
Right.
You know?
Rubber cement.
Yeah, it was rubber cement. So you could just peel it up and then rub off the rubber cement. But on this job, maybe because it was such a rush, they were like, nah, just think they're originals. So he went over all my originals real heavy-handed, rendering the crap out of it to try and make it look like Platt.
I've done a lot of crappy jobs. I would never have taken that job. That is a thankless job.
Can you find that book? Is it on that Read Comics?
Yeah, I'm not pulling that up.
Hey, what's the issue number?
I'm not telling you that either. But I did post that link in the private chat for you, Billy.
Oh, cool. Okay. Thanks.
So anyhow, so I got the pages back.
No.
And I say it's two kicking the nuts because that was kicking the nuts. Number one was seeing that they did that. Kicking the nuts. Number two was they didn't use my splash page.
Sons of
used apparently they either said, Steven, it's your book, you draw the splash page, and didn't tell me. I mean, I got paid for it, so that was cool, but they didn't use it. The nice part was they didn't have Rodney go all over it. So I might actually still have that page, but I got all the artwork back. And the first thing I did when I got them back, so it wasn't on paste ups, I've never done this since. I tore every page up and threw them away.
Ooh.
And you know how I am with my art. I don't sell anything. I wouldn't even keep that stuff.
Wow.
So I tore up every freaking page. I was so pissed off.
How early on in your career was this?
Oh, it wasn't that early. It was like around 90, because I know where I was living. I was living in Florida, so that had to be around 97, 98. So 6 years,
So
7 years in.
Crap can happen even to somebody who's been doing this for a while.
Might have been 8 years into the business at that time. So, oh, Daniel Craig, you son of a! He posted the number
63 of what?
I said the name of the book. I don't have to say it again.
I believe it was Cable or something.
Damn it.
Cable or something. Cable 63. I'm pulling it up.
You bastard.
Pull it
That's
up.
it, kids.
Why not?
Atta boy.
Pull it up. That's right.
Well, this was and to give you an idea of what my art looked like then. Remember the art I showed that was kind of like Michael Goldnish with the rendering and cartoony?
Yeah.
That's how I was drawing.
Oh,
and then
cool.
they had Rodney go in and do all this line work and stuff that just totally it killed it. Because for the short amount of time I had, I liked what I did. But then they did, because you do the typical things. Oh, I established the background. Don't have to draw that background anymore. To get it done.
That's an old burn trick.
Did you make Xeroxes?
Yeah, I probably have them somewhere in the back because I used to Xerox everything back then, and I've got a tub in the back room full of Xeroxes.
All right, let's.
Oh, you son of a!
I am. I'm a son of a Chris.
Yeah.
Nice cover.
And I didn't get a credit. No name credit either on the cover.
Is it? Yeah, no. Is that Ladron?
No, that's Ladron. Yeah.
That's Platt.
Oh yeah, you'll be able to tell where. I mean, just drawing style wise, you'll be able to tell. I got credit there, of course, and then they even they gave Rodney credit for
So Matt Banning was inking. Oh, you got credit in there?
Yeah, I got credit, and so did Rodney. Now Matt didn't ink any of it; it was all Rodney because he was in house. Because isn't Matt a West Coaster, wasn't he?
This is Andy.
No, it's not.
It's not.
No,
dude, that's not Platt. That's not Platt right there.
That's Platt. That's totally Platt. Look at the chest.
Dude, yes. This is
Maybe that was a paste up.
Yeah, they could have done they could have messed with his stuff too.
Yeah, that's not Platt. That's Platt.
And then when you're done, see what year it came out.
Andy.
94.
No, that's not me.
Really?
Nope.
There's some not Plattisms happening in here.
The thighs, though.
This might be a Frankenstein job.
Yeah, it could have been.
Because that
Well,
wasn't
they Frankenstein me for sure.
That wasn't banning inks either. And this doesn't look like plaid either.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it was a rush job all around, so
Might have been a lot of hands on different pages.
Yeah.
All right. I want to see when we get to
that.
the Andy.
Oh no,
part.
that's not it. That's not me either.
I don't think
nope.
you worked on this, Andy.
Nope. That's my first page.
I was gonna say that's Andy for sure.
This one here?
Yeah, that's my first one. I wish I had the Xeroxes at hand, but
dude, I see your underdrawing. I see it.
Oh yeah, the underdrawing's all there.
No, I see the golden-esque underdrawing, but I do see what you're talking about.
But like if you look at his neck and the face, all that line work, like
yeah.
How did he do that? He must have been.
Like I didn't do any lighting on Cable's face in that last panel.
Yeah,
I didn't do any lighting.
You can tell.
Yeah, he must have been like one hand was on the whiteout pin, and the other one was on his crow quill, because there had to be a lot of whiteout work on this.
Oh, he didn't white anything of mine out.
So he just
inked over the pencils. He didn't.
He just inked over the pencils, and in that last page,
I thought he inked over your inks.
No, he inked over my inks. No, he did, but he didn't white any of my inks out. So he just added to my ink. He didn't like white anything out that I did.
Weird, man. That is really weird. I don't know how that's even possible.
And then the funny thing is, on that last page, go to the very last page that Platt did of Strife.
Yeah, I'm on it.
Okay, well, so basically, Platt, he did a nice pinup shot, whatever. I tried to do more of a storytelling thing where you saw Strife walk into the room, so it was a full figure of him, and he was walking into the room, and Cable and the other dude were still laid out on the floor in front, but I had a higher eye level, and he was entering whatever.
Dude, this isn't banning.
I don't know. That could be Rodney as well. I don't know.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's no way this is banning. There's no unless this is his day 5 of not sleeping. But this isn't as bad as you make it, Andy.
But it's one of those books when people bring it up to sign. I cringed inside and I'm like, oh, thank you for being a fan.
Can you bring that image back again? I'm sorry.
Man.
No, too late. No big deal. No big deal.
I get all wincy when I think about certain books, but I can't bring it up, Billy. Maybe problem. I can. Hold on. Let me go to history. I can. I
just text flash that one image.
You got it. Hold up.
But like I said, we all have those. That's a topic. Is what books do you have that make you wince? Yeah, that's a bros topic.
How to smash nuts with a mallet.
I'm going to write that down.
Right there. That's how you do it.
Yeah, if you scan down, those guys knocked out because their eyes look open. Like, look at the guy on the left.
Oh, it's the colorist. Probably didn't.
Like, and then, him,
that. Yo, dude, that used to be one of my biggest pet peeves about any production. In fact, it happens in animation. It happens in film. I'm guilty of it when I've worked on storyboards and stuff because you're just trying to get your job done. But a lot of times colorists are given pages and not given a script. So they don't know. They don't if they read the script, they might go, oh shit, the mood of this should be real moody. And these guys are knocked out. And, so.
Or nighttime.
Or it's nighttime. Yeah, it's so many times. But
one of the things I always wondered about Cable is he's got the glowing eye, but they would draw his eye closed and it would still be glowing. Where's the glow coming from?
Yeah, I'm curious about that too.
Well, he's cybernetic, so he's in standby mode.
So it's glowing through his eyelids.
It's like your computer in sleep mode.
That's right.
Well, I mean, if it's really bright, think about it, your eyelid's actually really thin. So if it's really bright behind it,
you're making excuses for bad stuff.
And when you
eyelid be metal too.
Yeah, and when your dog goes to sleep and they got pointy ears when they sleep, do they flop down? And if that's the case, when Mickey Mouse sleeps, does his ears supposed to flop down? I don't know.
No, because think about it like this: with the Doberman, whose ears are whatever they call it to always stand up, when they go to sleep, they don't flop.
Yeah, there you go. They're rigid.
Ears
They're
boxed.
rigid.
All right. Well, let's go to Graham. We got to get through this, man.
All right, I'll try not to put everybody to sleep.
I think you're putting yourself to sleep.
I mean, deadlines are the bane of all of our careers. But for me, the biggest deadline crunch is when I got into syndicated strips, because that's a deadline that never ends. It's daily. And if you fall behind, you're stuck behind, you know. I had one time there where my dad had passed away, and I had to go down to Florida, and it was already a bit behind on the strip. And I was ready to just say, fuck it, you know, I don't care. But Eduardo Barreto stepped in, and he ghosted 2 weeks of dailies for me, and wouldn't let me pay him.
Really?
What a good guy that is.
Yeah.
What strip were you working on at the time?
He was ghosting Rex Morgan, MD.
2 weeks worth, huh? Is that includes Sundays as well?
Yeah, I think he did the Sundays too.
Damn.
What a favor, man. That is.
And he wouldn't let me pay him. I mean, I got him. He ended up doing what was the other one? Judge Parker. He got the contract to do Judge Parker based on some fill-in stuff he had done for me. And I don't know. He was just such a great guy that he saved my ass. So that's a deadline story, which I guess I didn't make, and I had to get my ass saved by the great Eduardo Barreto.
Well, he's
didn't have to pay for it.
Good. Like I always wondered why he never was bigger in the industry. Is he one of the Brazilian guys? Is he?
Eduardo was from Uruguay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I always wondered, like he was always so good. Why he wasn't like a superstar or bigger in the industry?
Oh, it's like, why isn't Garcia Lopez?
God, yes.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
but at least DC recognized him, let him do the Bible, the DC Bible, and all the licensing work and things like that. He did.
Yeah. I mean, it's traditional. It's beautifully drawn. I remember when he did the Shadow Strikes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, those Shadow books. I mean, after Kaluta, those are the best ones. They're just amazing.
Yeah. You guys heard the story about Burke Breathitt, who did Bloom County, that he was such a let's say he enjoyed his recreational time and made the most of it, you know? Mm-hmm. And so he would screw around for 3 weeks every month, you know, doing whatever he wanted to do. And then the last week he'd do an entire month's worth of Bloom counties in 1 week. Mm-hmm. And oftentimes, you know, harkening back to Art's story, he would be on the airplane finishing the last strip, and then they, you know, land in New York, turn it over to the syndicate, then he was off on his 3 weeks, whatever he wanted to do kind of thing, and do it again.
And they thought nothing of it.
Mm-hmm. When you have total control of, as in the strip is yours and you're writing it as well, you can make all kinds of concessions and for your lifestyle.
Right. But I worked with two guys that were kind of like that. Jim Lee, when I worked with him, he would go 3 weeks on, 1 week completely off. And when he was working on a book, he didn't stop. Like it was 100%, like eat, sleep, drink the book until it got done. Then he would take a week off, and then he would start it up again. And then I remember not quite as disciplined or patterned was Jeff Matsuda. And I worked with Jeff in the same exact location. And I've never seen somebody been able to procrastinate on a deadline to the extent that he did. But man, he would always pull it off. But I would always get like just a chunk of pages at one time, you know, which always made it harder for the assembly line process, which is better when you do one, send it, do one, send it.
Right.
Yeah. So there are people that still do stuff like that. It's not the greatest way to work when you're working with somebody like that. But
I mean, half the industry is like that, I think. So many people in this business that are undisciplined that they love the art and they love to draw and everything, but they hate the prospect of sitting down and doing it. And it messes up deadlines all the way across the board. My idols have always been the guys, the workhorses, the Buscemi's, the Kirby's, the Canes, that were, putting food on the table, at the best they can, and they got no royalties. They hardly got paid. I don't like that part, that stuff. but the fact that they treated it like a job, it was something that beat digging ditches. They loved what they did. And they were professional about it, and they made their deadlines, and they turned in stellar work and developed styles that allowed them to work within the framework of a periodical, a monthly periodical.
Yeah, and to, like, I'm just thinking back, like, I think I missed 2 deadlines in my entire career. And one of them, like Mike Carlin made me pay. I paid such a hefty price on Adventures of Superman, and he brought my idol in, Dick Giordano, to do the fill-in when I choked. And I was like, oh shit, it's over. I'm not going to come back on this book, because how can I top this guy? And somehow I did, but
somehow.
But I didn't know at the time, you know what I mean? But it definitely fueled my fire.
Yeah.
So when I got back in on that book, I made sure, 1, I got it done on time, and 2, it was the best work I could possibly do. So that's one of the things that you always end up doing, is trying to do better work in less time. Yeah. So that's always the goal for any of us to make.
That's it's funny you say that, because I've read interviews with John Byrne where he said that his goal was, he created a 9-to-5 style, and his main goal was to get better and better and better and better at the 9-to-5 style. So it wasn't like to get better and go longer, but to like evolve this thing that was in this bracket.
Well, that's great advice, and it's kind of back on what Graham was saying early on, and that's what I adopted. But it wasn't until the sobering moment where our little Amanda was born, and as soon as she was born, because I had a studio that was outside of the house, I had to drive there, and so I would miss her every day. You know what I mean? Like I'd work 8-10 hours, and then I would come home, and so the old work all day long, all night long, all that stuff, it started kind of becoming, it got in the way. It got in the way of being a father. And so what I did is, and it wasn't easy, but I did turn it around relatively quick, where it was 9 to 5. I worked it. Well, it was actually like 8 to 6 or 8 to 6:30. And that's what I worked. And then I came home, had dinner with the family, and got to play with our little one. So that's when I really got real, right? This is discipline. And that's also when I did more, believe it or not, when I did more work than I knew that I was even capable of. And up to that point, with the studio, I was doing always 2 to 3 books a month. So once I got to that point, we were doing like 4 to 6 books a month, between me and the studio. And it was all because of her. It really did make me want to do something that it seemed like it was impossible to do, but I did it. And it did work out, like you're saying, Graham. And also what I did is I gave myself 1 day off every Sunday, no matter what. Well,
me too. Sundays were always my day off. I never.
That's what I still try and do. Sundays are the day off.
That's what I'm
always try to do that.
Yeah, I'm bringing that back into my schedule. So one, it's something to look forward to for a break, because you guys know as well as I do, every day bleeds into the next day. Like it's absolutely crazy. So if you have a day to look forward to and a day off, then when you get back into the cycle, it makes it easier to do. And so I'm kind of going back to that schedule. And also it just kind of clears your mind. So when you do come back, you can be more productive. But I'm just a workaholic, so I never give myself that opportunity. You know what I mean? Like I have to really kind of focus on doing it, make an effort to just take time off, because one, I love to do it so much, and the other is I'm a workaholic.
And these stories collectively are becoming more and more archaic because of the changes that we've made in our careers and our lives. We're not on these phony baloney deadlines for a monthly periodical. We're setting the deadlines for the product that we're going to produce. And, it's not like you get a call and you're like, oh, you want to do Plastic Man 12 as a fill-in? Who gives a shit? We're working on stuff we love.
Yeah.
And so those long hours you put in, and look at it. Oh, beautiful print. Is that signed yet? Did you sign that?
It is signed. It looks like it.
Mine got sent out already, Graham.
Yeah, mine are signed. They're not sent yet or packed, but tomorrow.
Motherfucker. All right.
Damn, didn't Graham tell you guys about the first guy that gets them back gets a bonus?
Wait a minute. I didn't know that.
Andy's already got it. This is already here.
Oh, shit. He's going to beat me then.
If I can say something, Graham, to test what you're saying, and Art's story about the deadlines and all, is how there are still books consistently being late now. And these artists today, as you were saying, that work ethic, part of it bled into us. But it's, of course, like I said, that there's that famous cartoon or a cartoon I'd seen once. I think of Jack Kirby talking to another creator,
break your heart.
Yeah, and he's like, come on, you got to hurry up, finish that second page. We got to make the 5:15. They were on that 5:15 train home.
Right.
But the people today, they have so much resources to them now with all the tablets, the drawing digitally, all that stuff. And they still don't have that work ethic that those World War II guys and everyone afterwards up into the 90s,
Right. Well, to that point, Billy, when digital started, coming in, and I was one of the last people to really, I was kicking, screaming, and the editors were saying, well, the internet and digital, it's going to make everything go faster and deadlines are going to be easier and all this stuff. And I turned to my editor and I said, it will not change anything. And he said, no, it'll change it. I go, it won't. It'll create unreal expectations, and every damn artist will work up to the last possible minute to finish his book. So you're still going to get that stuff delivered the same as always, but instead of maybe a day or two before the deadline, you're going to get it an hour before the deadline.
But you know what did change is that it saved them hundreds of thousands of dollars a year in shipping costs, and they could get rid of the pre-press team and the stat people, and they could get all the shit formatted for them and not pay us.
Right. No, they paid me because that was my deal, because I was the last holdout. One of the last holdouts at DC. And so I was negotiating a raise, and they bought my equipment. And
I remember that.
Yeah. Because I was just like, this is going to save you money. Why shouldn't I benefit from it? I'm going to have to do more work. I'm doing production work and all this other stuff. And I remember the editor said, why are you doing this? Everybody else just does it. And I go, well, I know the truth. I know that production is I'm doing their work. I'm formatting. I'm doing all of this stuff now that I didn't have to do before. And they're like, it doesn't take that long. I go, even if it takes me 10 minutes, 15 minutes, do you realize how long it takes me to do one single panel? You know what I mean? Like it could take you 15 minutes to do a panel and then move on to the next. So it is time. Time is money. I was trying to explain it to him. He's just like,
that's great that you had the balls to say that, because
he straight up boofed those bastards.
Yeah, boofa.
I think already I knew that something better was coming, and I think it was like CG was on the horizon. So
it was Mike S. Miller coming to.
It was.
There's a friend of mine who I won't name. He's not in the business anymore anyhow, but he was like Art. He would, remember when Marvel had the cabinet with brushes, and besides paper, you could get brushes, you could get pens and ink and stuff like that, right?
Oh, I don't remember that. I wasn't.
Oh yeah.
What are you talking about? You could say, hey, I need. Yeah. I mean, I remember getting paper. But
no, he started off as a remitterator, so he knew about the art supply cabinet. And when he went freelance, he'd be like, I need a new brush or whatever. And he'd get a brush or a pen or a bottle of ink, right? But wait, this is what cracks me up. He's very, very like on the ball when it comes to like royalties and stuff too. So you remember when DC made that switch going, well, you can either do, what was the thing? It was a one or the other, like a reprint or.
Yeah, you could get paid a reprint fee, or you could take royalties.
Right.
Yeah. So basically, remember when DC did that convergence thing when they were moving from New York to Burbank?
Yes.
Yeah, I worked
And they
on
had Chip Kidd design these covers where they just pulled artwork from something else, and then Chip did some design thing down the cover.
Yes.
So I was in LA before we went to San Diego, and we were in a comic shop. And I'm like, dude, that's your art on the cover. His inks, because he inked, the art that they pulled from a book that was in the early 90s that he worked on. And he's like, oh, I got to talk to DC. And I was like, well, I'm going up there. I'm going up to the Burbank offices before, he knew we were going up. So we go up there and he goes to see Roger Rivera, the accountant guy. And he takes the book and he goes, I'm getting royalties for this, right?
Nice.
And it was just that little half of that cover. And Roger's like, I'll look into it.
And Roger's a good guy. He's probably.
Hey, you know what?
Oh, Roger's awesome.
But
Yeah,
DC,
Roger's
I gotta say, as far as I didn't do a lot of DC work. I did Big Book of Wild Women. I did Powerpuff Girls, and I did the He-Man stuff.
Yep.
At Marvel, I did a whole lot more. I did some Spider-Man, some Wolverine, some other things. I've never received a royalty check from Marvel ever. And DC
Really?
DC's still paying me for stuff I did in 2002. So
I get their royalty statements. I think Marvel's twice a year.
Nah,
I just got one.
I don't get
Marvel's
shit from
royalties,
Marvel.
They're incentives. So.
Whatever.
I don't get shit from Marvel.
Damn. Marvel.
But DC, I get hooked up, and I'm like, I go, man, DC as far as, and when I hear Ethan and Graham, and Shane, guys who've actually created characters for DC, talking about like, oh yeah, I got a little check from this, that, and the other. You go, holy crap, man! It's like Howard Mackey and we created the Red Goblin on our Peter Parker Spectacular Spider-Man issue. I don't see fucking cent from that shit. You know what I mean?
Really?
Like, oh yeah. So it's like it's interesting. Like DC is as much as we go. I go. Oh, wait a second. They actually they at least kick a couple shekels your way.
I think DC has way more ethics than they're way more ethical than Marvel is.
And,
And I did get did get royalties for that Worlds of Tomorrow or whatever that TV show was, because they used like Time Master concepts and ideas.
Oh yeah. Oh, Legends of Tomorrow.
Legends of Tomorrow, yeah.
So
those were pretty good. I think the show is canceled now. But do we have any like cool like deadline parting shots? Does anybody want to throw in a real quick deadline story? Because we didn't get to go.
I'll give a quick one because.
Okay.
Did we skip Billy and Aaron? I don't want to skip those guys.
Yeah.
Come on, we know. Okay, Billy's gonna lie.
Okay,
Aaron's gonna try to lie.
I'll tell you a brutal one. And this is what is the Latin for it? Mea culpa. So I got hired. Yeah. No, it means my fault, right? Like so I get the Generation X 97 annual, like, and it's great. A lot of fun. Great script. Elliot S. Maggin, fantastic author. Did some really good Superman stuff, novels and things. And I'm like, I'm on an X book. I mean, it was Gen X or whatever, but I'm like, oh, I'm on an X book, and it's an annual. But I'm like, oh shit. So I went bananas on like the first half of the book, but like I chewed up my deadline. And my editor was like, listen, we're going to need these last 18 pages in the next 3 days or whatever, no, I'm not kidding, or we're going to give them to somebody else. And Larry Stucker, I love Larry Stucker, and no offense to anybody who's ever inked me before, but outside of myself, Larry Stucker is my favorite inker who's inked me, and no offense.
He's a bit of a protege. He was he left.
I know.
Work at Hack Shack. Yeah, he's really.
I know, and I'm the guy who brought him into Extreme. So like me or mommy and daddy. I don't know who wears the wig.
And he's got a great work ethic, man.
Larry, he's got a good human ethic. I have nothing but love for Larry. And this is when his wife she was pregnant with their first kid, and I remember saying to Larry, "Yo, dude, we got to do this thing," and he was like, "Okay, man, like let's do it." And this is where I learned to love the UFC, the Ultimate Fighting. So Larry told me about it, and he got the first 8 UFCs. I think it was 8 of them. There was a lot, but they were the VHSs, and he rented them, and there was a TV between us, and I was on the desk on the left, and he was on the desk on the right, and we like gamified getting those pages done. Like, and thank you, Carrie, his amazing pregnant wife. She's pregnant at the time. She kept us with water and food and all that. Like, she's like gets the thank you for the hookups, But we would race each other, right? So I would pencil a page, I'd throw it over to him, and it was on. I had to finish this pencil page before he inked the one I just gave him. And we did that for almost 3 days straight. Like, we would nap and everything, like sort of in between. But
okay, there was 18 pages in 3 days. How many hours were put in per page? Like 2, 3 hours?
Yeah. You can pull it up. It was the Generation X Annual '97, and it like I said, that stuff was a blur. It was kind of a blur, but that was the one that was like bananas.
Wow.
But but I learned to love the UFC, man. That was like the old days of like Dan Severn and Hoist Gracie and and Ken Shamrock, I think, was like near the later ones.
Oh yeah.
But those were the days, man. Like, and like I said, this is the early 97 or 90, late 96, early 97 when we did this, because I remember she had a baby like around right after we finished up.
Okay. Well, one of the craziest things I ever did for a deadline, and if you guys have another story, then we can go to that, or we'll just kind of wrap it up. But I wanted to say this one. I did this only twice. I did it one with the Johnny Romita Jr. page.
No.
On X-Men. And so I was helping out Dan. This was at Extreme Studios, Dan. So I was working with Penosian, and I was just helping him out, just working as a helper. And so I remember that we weren't going to get this last page done and out in the mail. And so I had an idea of, let's just cut the panels. So you can work on a panel, I can work on a panel, so we can kind of work on panels on the same page at the same time. And so it broke our heart to disassemble that page, but we did, and then taped it back together. And
I was going to say, you taped it back together?
And then put
Who got that art returned? Did you or did JR Jr.?
You guys should both get it. And then, like, it's like touching dicks. It's like...
No dick touching. No.
This is why I don't share a studio with Dan. Every now and then he's like, gotta touch dicks.
Sometimes when we touch...
He literally crossed swords.
Yeah.
Hang on.
And then I did it one more time on an Ultimate X-Men page with Dave Finch. So it was one of those crazy deadlines again. And I remember it was like 4 or 5 horizontal panels, and just snip, 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 give it off to the background, give it to the black, person doing blacks, do whatever at the studio. And then that one, we didn't even have time to tape it together. So we actually put that thing back in the box, disassembled. And I knew that there was going to be hell to pay, or I thought there was, but they were just like, well, thanks, Art. We'll reassemble. And I think they said something like, what are those letters that serial killers, they like glue things?
Right.
You know one.
Yeah. Like a ransom note or something.
Ransom note. Yeah, they mean one of those letters called. You got one in your house there.
Yeah, exactly. But does anybody else have a story?
I wanted to share real quickly that we were talking about workaholics, because I am one too. But Andy remembers this. When CrossGym was going under, we would go out during our breaks. We'd go out behind the building, and there was like a grass field out there, and we would call Marvel in DC trying to hook up work because we knew the place was going under, right?
Yeah.
And so I finally got something from Marvel after all these, phone calls back and forth, and they said, well, we got 4 issues of Captain Marvel, but I was still working for CrossGen, right? So I was doing I think Lady Death or something. I did last couple issues of Mystic, and then a couple issues of Lady Death.
CrossGen was doing Lady Death?
Yeah, but
we had we worked the deal with
okay. Yeah, I remember they were pals.
But it was a cleaner version of Lady Death. But anyway, so I would I'd work all day at CrossGen doing these pages. Then I would go home, eat dinner, and then I would do a page of Captain Marvel. And then I would go back to the studio. And I did this 7 days a week for 6 months.
Holy shit, dude.
I worked, on the weekends, I didn't have to work at CrossGen. I just worked on Captain Marvel.
You had no kids at the time, though, right?
Yeah, you did.
What's that?
You had 2 young kids.
Yeah, I had 2.
Holy crap, man.
Yeah, it was brutal. But yeah, for 7 days a week for 6, and it wasn't necessarily because it was like, oh, I need the money, but I was committed to both projects, right? And I wasn't going to screw up the Marvel job. I mean, I could have flaked out on CrossGen, but I didn't feel right about it. So, yeah, that was a brutal 6-month period there in Florida.
The reason also you never screwed anybody is because it's a really small industry. So even if you think CrossGen is never gonna, you're never gonna go there. You're never gonna see those guys again. That's not true. Those guys might end up working at Marvel or DC down the line. Yep. So that's why you never ever, screw somebody over. So very good, you guys. So I know we got a couple live campaigns going right now. We got a few in demand, and we got some sign up pages that we're trying to get some numbers on. So let's start with Core Draft. What do you have for draft?
Share my screen.
Period.
We have to do it all like
Core Draft. All right, you can share that. So I just finished this today.
So
put it up on the campaign page.
Sweet.
Thank you, guys. It is obviously homage to the wonderful Conan #1 by Barry Windsor Smith. So there is something in common, last name. So that is on the campaign page now. And then I just want to let anybody know that's already backed the campaign. I did send out a secret tier where the shipping is a lot less. So it's almost like an add-on. So if you do want to get it, you can just back it with that secret tier link that I sent out, and then the shipping isn't that much. So
Andy, no shit, man. This is the best stuff I've seen you do in a while, and this barbarian stuff is right up your alley, man.
Yeah,
this is like what you were born to do.
Those hands on the foreground are awesome.
This flavor on this cover is so tasty.
A lot of sugar.
Thank you very much.
Lick that.
So there's that, and then just real quick, the actual campaign page, it kicked up some when I added that. So
sweet.
So that's cool. Oh, look, kicked up some during the show even. So thank you guys. Anybody who backed it during the show, thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it. Cruising up to 50,000. Get that first stretch goal unlocked.
Let's go.
And there we go, guys. So thank you all. What's that?
50K.
50K and beyond. So there you go. Thank you all so much.
No problem, man.
Awesome.
All right, Mr. Nolan, you got you want me to click on this?
Yeah, please. So my next campaign is launching October 1st, The Ghosts of Matacumba Key.
Yeah.
The sign-up list is up. When you sign up and you purchase on launch day, actually, you can purchase any day if you've signed up, and you'll get the 2 collectible trading cards. 2.
Not just one.
Not just one.
2.
So here they are. These are the original sketches of our 2 main characters. And you guys are the only ones who can get it. If you sign up and you buy a book, that's how you get it. Otherwise, nobody else can get these things.
So Misty and Meathead.
Misty and Meathead. Here's the cover. Here's the first cover for the series.
Oh yeah,
this is fantastic.
Yeah, it's great, dude.
This is going to be lots of mood and a lot of fun. And then this is a mini print.
That's the one I saw you put up.
Oh yeah, I never saw the colors by Dan.
Yeah,
ooh,
I love those edges, man.
Isn't that sharp?
Yeah.
So this is coming October 1st, just in time for the Halloween month, my friends.
You know what? I'm sorry to interrupt, but there's this thing I really like doing is painting with white, and so few artists actually do it. But that, the reflection from the moon on his head, and then the white on his legs and part of his arm there, absolutely fantastic. Like a lot of colorists don't use just an open white color.
Dan, you are amazing. Look at that. What a team you guys are.
Yeah.
Man, I'm on Dan Lawless doing something.
Yeah, we all should get some Lawless.
This cover was colored by Kelsey, too.
Oh, yeah.
I just wanted to give him some credit, too.
Yeah, Kelsey's not bad.
It's got like a black light effect to it, too.
Yeah, it's really cool. And there's going to be there's a version that's going to be called Monster Matinee, and it's this cover in black and white, and it's going to have glow-in-the-dark logos on it.
Beautiful.
So it's going to be kind of a throwback feel to those, creature features. That's it. It's called the Creature Features cover.
Perfect.
Sweet.
Perfect.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's awesome. So
sign up today.
Yes, do it now. What do you got for us, teen sensation Billy Tucci, the liar?
Yeah. You can share my screen.
Actually, it's not liar. You're a storyteller.
That's right.
That's right.
Dude, I'm a liar. You can call me a liar. That was a great lie. The best lie I've ever told in my life.
Hey, Dan Lawless is in the chat. Hey, Dan.
Yeah.
I see that.
What's up, Dan Lawless? All right, yeah. So She Sakura. All of our stretch goals. Well, our stretch goals have been printed. He's dropping them off tomorrow. The rest of them, we're going to start packing them stretch goals. Our books are still scheduled to be in our studio on the 29th of September. So as soon as they come in, man, if it's the 29th, September 30th, we start fulfilling. And I just want to thank everybody. Also, I was talking to you, Andy, about this earlier. We have our backer kit. A lot of people have been asking about backer kit, send us emails about it. So actually Thursday on the Pop XP, Debbie's going to come on. And she's going to give a little tutorial about the benefits of what she feels it is. It really speeds up our fulfillment since we do Kickstarter and Indiegogo. And we get some people order on both, and it combines the orders and all. But it just speeds. It seems to be a really nice shortcut, I guess, to organizing your fulfillment and all your backers. So
what's that cost you, Billy? It's
about $4,600. But the thing is that when they do send out the surveys, people do get a chance if they miss something to add to it. And we are already over. We sent our surveys out, late last week, or maybe not even a week ago, maybe Thursday. With the people that ordered new books, we're already over $5,000. So we're already in the profit margin for us.
So you made enough with those extra sales to pay for the back.
Yeah, you always make the extra for the because people always forget stuff. Or they like something different that and they add that to it. Because we also, once we start ordering, and get our numbers and all, we stop the add-ons just because Backer Kit needs 10 days for the add-ons. And it seems to work really well, but I'm excited. And then we also have our She action figures. If anybody saw that, we're going to be doing probably a 14-day Indiegogo, in October before we launch our next She Indiegogo on November 2nd. We'll probably do a little 10-day little action figure one for the Tucci Troopers exclusive. So that'd be fun because we're doing 6-inch figures too. They're really cool, and we'll post it. But I also wanted to talk to you guys maybe in the after show. I see Graham, you're launching on Saturday. Rini launched on Saturday. Andy, when did you launch on Monday?
Monday.
You launched
Monday
on
the Kings. Yeah.
Aaron, what about you?
Thursday.
You launched Thursday. Okay, because remember Ethan was saying how he gets tired, and I'm very intrigued by these Saturday launches. I like the idea of it. So I want to talk to you guys about. We'll talk about it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I want to remind everybody, all the links to all the books and Graham's sign-up page is in the description. So if you missed out on anything, go there, click on that. But before I go any further with Aaron Lepresti's book, thank you so much, JV, for the $1.99. Vic King is drunk with Nasser. What is that? Beowar?
Beowar.
Beowar.
With power.
Power. Yeah, so don't go there yet. We still have some entertainment for you.
Don't go there yet.
we got Aaron Lepresti's Wraith of God 2, Electric Boogaloo.
Yes. Yeah, you can show the screen if you just want to. That's the campaign page is all. But yeah, so we're at 87,208. Wow, 1,100 backers. Thank you guys so much. So yeah, this is it's pretty much the same as it's been. I'm still waiting on the 4th mystery cover. Hopefully, I'll get it before we all die of old age.
Who's doing the mystery cover?
I'm not saying because I'm not advertising something I don't have in my hands. So
I got
Billy
mystery
knows.
covers too.
Billy knows because Billy's the one that did.
No, he's being it's Ben Stiller's doing it.
Sweet!
And his father. Or
and he
his son,
had the
Jerry.
help of a skanky looking prostitute helped him out.
Yeah.
With it. So it's
Nice.
very
There
nice.
you go, buddy.
I do have where's my camera at? There it is. I do have the Garbage Man shot.
Oh yeah, go full screen on that. I didn't get this.
Hold on. Here we go.
Oh, sweet.
Garbage Man.
Yeah, so those go with the Wraith of God shot glasses.
Sweet.
So this is like Shelley's pet project. She wants to do a shot glass with every campaign, so we'll get like a whole collection of them. So these are available as add-ons. They ship separately, so that's why you're not going to see any. The same with the T-shirts. The T-shirts, the hats, and the shot glasses all ship separately. So you can't really add them on because the shirts you can add together, like you get multiple shirts. But other than that, these are all they're add-ons, but they actually end up being treated like separate order items because they can't be shipped together. Obviously, the shot glasses are going to be in little boxes that protect them, and the hats are going to be in boxes so they don't get crushed and all that kind of stuff. But
Aaron, you know what you should do with those shot glasses is you should produce a wooden display.
That'd be good.
Like flight,
just like when you do
Empire Comics.
Yeah, and then you have the Empire Comics logo on it, and then you have the shot glasses in their little things.
Yes.
And
say that again. I got to write this down. Say that again.
That's a good idea. I like that. I like that a lot.
That'd be really cool.
Yeah, I'm going to do that.
And then the next thing is you need to open a bar.
5% royalty. That's all. 5%.
Empire Bar.
Yeah, that's right. With the comics and booze. It's the perfect combination.
It's like a destination location, like somewhere in Hawaii or something, so we can all.
Right, exactly. So
that's where we should do a bro show from. February in Hawaii.
Yeah, exactly.
There you go.
Yes. Well, we have Dan, Mr. Boom, up next. What do you got for us?
Well, professionals. First off, it's been amazing learning about all of you guys. Always, every now and then you're in your body and you get all Doctor Stranged out and you get to kind of step outside and watch this thing. And it feels fantastic to be on a stream with legends. You too, Aaron. So.
Oh my God!
I'll just play it. Now you're amazing, brother. No, but I want to say what's up to the chat. What's up, Comicsgate? I just put a new update up on the Black Flag page, so you can kind of see the status of that. I don't want to get too much into it because I know time is of an essence and it's valuable. October is upon us. We're going to have the 31 Days of Monsters with this guy.
Heck yes, you are. Heck yes, you are.
And you're also going to get Fragtober with me. This Fragtober this time around is going to be a little different. I'm going to be a wily, spooky ghost. We're only doing 13 days of Fragtober. 13. Halloween is a definite because it'll be the championship, but we're going to do 13 days of Fragtober. You don't know when they're going to drop. The rules are going to be the same. I hope to have all you gentlemen on. I know Lepresti is very fierce and wants that belt that is supposed to be his.
I don't know. I think he's gun shy.
Do we draw on Fragtober?
You do. I mean, basically here's the rules. For our awesome chat and audience, what they do is they make a suggestion, and I'll say put your day one suggestions to Pink Bunny Says So on Twitter, and then when I drop on day one. I pick from those suggestions with a guest, and I can have multiple guests. If you guys want to come on, we have a challenge. You either come on and just promote your book, or come on, promote your book, and say, I challenge you. And basically, when you challenge me, at the end, the audience gets to decide who wins. And if you win, which a lot of people have, it's not like I'm some gladiator, but I am. And you if you win, you get put on the board, right? And if you get on the board enough times, the top 4 contenders will fight it out on Halloween to get the Fragtober belt.
Sweet.
And what people get from making their suggestion, if you make a suggestion, say day 8, and I pick your suggestion off of Twitter, you get that original. Whatever I drew that night, win or lose, I mail it to you for free, no charge. Thanks for watching. Thanks for participating. That is Fragtober. This is year 3. John Malian, the alien, flat earther, mother effer. I love you, John. I love you, John. Champion number 1 has the first belt. We worked our kinks out on it. He's both bitter and happy. Irene, Fiendish. I know you guys are familiar. She is the 2021 champion. She has a belt. It was a lot more tailored. It's got her name on it and whatever. Of course, it's got the
wow. Her name is on it, Aaron.
That's right, and that's what'll happen further on. So we are gonna get people to participate and say, hey, I want to be on your show. I want to do this. And I also want to hear from people who they want to see come on the show. But it will be random days and random times because I want to be wily this time. That's what I want to do. So Fragtober coming next month. 13 days of wacky art.
Wily and swirly.
That sounds great, man. That sounds like a lot of fun. That's on Dan Frega's channel. If you haven't subscribed yet, go do so. What is it? It's not your. Is it Fraga Boom? Is that what the?
That's it. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And we all have YouTube channels as well. I think most of them are names. So mine is RT Bear, and I think Billy, is yours.
No, I got Pop XP with Billy Tucci and Al Scala. Gave up my channel. Well, I still have my channel, but been focused.
Let me get this. This is from Liam. Thank you so much, Liam. What is that? Kayashi? Murder Dolls.
Kakashi.
What's up, Liam?
Kakashi.
Murder Dolls.
Murder Dolls.
Murder!
Real quick, Art, before we tap out. I don't know if you guys saw the show.
Well, I still haven't gone over my campaign.
Oh, okay. No, go ahead.
He's got another super chat down there.
Oh, wait. Okay, hold on. I hope I did you justice, Liam. Wait. Oh, In Demand. Okay, so
no, you got one from Geek Avenger.
Oh, yeah. That one ships soon. Oh, there it is. Okay. Get your belt, Aaron.
He knows. He knows.
Was he asking you to go and spank some folks, or
he's saying go back on your stream and get the belt that should have been mine last year? That's what he's saying.
I believe you can take it unless you can't.
Dude, all you had to do was guess it. A Triumph Bonneville T1000.
Talk about a callback.
Don't it, mate? It never goes away, does it? Never goes away.
Never goes away.
Billy, I don't know who's more bitter, Billy or me. But
well, Aaron got boobied.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I think we're caught up. Okay, so here we go. This is perhaps the greatest campaign of all time. The greatest.
I've heard that.
Yeah.
Campaign. And
it is In Demand, but don't let that discourage you. I know there's a lot of campaigns that are live and seem more pressing, but In Demand is also a good place to be. So this is Black and White Volume 2, Man versus Machine. This will be the epic origin wrap up to this fantastic duo, Whitney Sung, aka White, Reed Blackett, aka Black. In a world where law and order is often blurred to gray, justice can only be black and white. Thank you guys so much for helping us get to this 651 as a total. And we got all kinds of great stuff here. We got the original cover. We got some variants. We got the Kenneth Rocafort. We got the Joe Bennett. I think we have a Greg Capullo here. I'm reissuing the sold out issue 1 with a brand new cover, and and a brand new book, a 22-page high-octane adventure written by the great Von Klaus and Pedro Eng. Also, you guys, just as a little aside, we have, so if you back the book, we have a little, we have T-shirts. We don't have shot glasses yet, but we have the black and white T-shirt. We have the Inko T-shirt. And also we added these Keshi figures. So we offered a tier at this price for $15 for the pair as a limited, and we sold out of those. So this is the second offering at this price. But after this, they are going to go up to $20 for both. And also, I have to talk to Eric Huffles about this, but they may not be in black and white. That might just be the limited for those for these limited tiers. So here's
How
what
can
they
black
look
and white not be in black and white.
because check this out. This image, they're all in different colors here. Yeah, so they're my drinking buddies. So whenever I go on live streams, they're all hanging out with me, encouraging me to not drink too much.
Talking to them late at night.
Which Art ignores, by the way.
Which what?
You ignore when they're encouraging you not to drink too much. I said you're ignoring them.
Yeah, I always ignore them. Yes, but yeah, they're a lot of fun. You guys, they're highly collectible. But most of all, CG's the best. Oh, look at that! Dan's got a whole plate of them.
These are my drinking buddies. You know what I'm saying? These are the OG muscles.
Muscles.
I love them. I love them.
Yeah. So here's my. Let me see. I got a bunch of them. I'm going to try to get the. I know the white figure is now, the mold is working. That's what kind of took so long. But I have some of the prototypes here. So these are the various colors of all of them. So they're very cool, very fun, very collectible. Yeah, but mainly I wanted to thank everybody for supporting Black and White. Everybody at CG for just creating this great place where we can all create and we can all pretty much make these dreams a reality with your help. We are nothing without you. We cannot exist without you. And each and every one of us appreciates all your support, all your contributions, and everything like that. So who's next on the bros? Who gets the show?
I love hanging out with them.
Dan is, or no, Billy is. Sorry.
Oh, I'm next. Okay, I'm next. Okay.
Yeah. Sorry.
So I'm the last in the A's, right? So it's Aaron, then it's Andy, then it's me, and then it goes to Billy, right? We're alphabetical.
Yep.
Yep.
Billy, Dan, me.
Got to think of something crazy.
Let me show something real quick if I could. I don't know if you guys saw this or not, but give me the screen.
I did, and it's awesome.
Amazing.
Now, did you ink that whole?
Yeah, okay, no. David
split.
Williams and I teamed up to make this double-page spread. He did Batman, and I did Clayface.
What about the fist? The fist.
Yeah, how'd you make it connect if you were drawing it separately?
Because the original one, I spilled water on my Clayface, so I had to redraw it. So David sent me his Batman piece, and then I was able to make it overlap like this. So it was actually
cool.
But the reason I bring this up is David and I are going to do a series of these as live streams for fun throughout the next month or so. So keep your eyes open on my YouTube channel for that because
That's awesome.
But how do you line them up if you're doing them separately?
Well,
because the Batman came to him, and then he added the Clayface.
No, but he said they're going to draw them at the same time.
Yeah, well, that's what we did originally. The cape, because we knew the cape would be the connecting thing. This hand wasn't originally over here on the first one. And I just added that because I had his original to tie it in. But we just kind of used the cape as the connector thing.
Right.
And then, what I have them do is don't ink a little bit of here in case I have to maneuver a little bit to get them to stick together. And then we're going to auction them all off at some point.
That's fantastic.
Oh, that's cool.
Billy, did you have something you wanted to share?
Nah, it's just my Rocketeer picture in the book. I'm putting on page 5.
Ooh,
nice. Oh, nice.
No, it's not. I'm trying to draw a drunk Clips Accord.
Oh, I love that.
Man, I just watched.
You have art model for that?
Yep.
That's how art looks drunk.
I just put Rocketeer on for the first time for Harrison the other night.
It's a great movie. It's a great movie.
Man, it's so great.
I watched it a few weeks ago.
And who can't watch, Jennifer Connelly?
Oh my God.
Jiggity,
Charmed.
jiggity, jiggity, jiggity.
Doubly charmed. Can anybody do W.C. Field?
Pork chops and applesauce.
No, that's
no.
No, remember he's like when he's looking at the camera pans
My
down.
chickadee.
Like charmed. Charmed.
Oh, just real quick, you guys. Look forward to this. This is going live very, very soon. We're gonna bring this back. So this is the Oodles of Doodles and other stuff too. My art book. I believe it's 52 pages. It'll have 2 new pages to it, and hopefully we'll be able to upgrade this book with some stretch goals. So Pamela and I are still putting that together. We're getting quotes from different printers, and we'll probably be launching that within a month or so. So look forward to that. Yeah, and
I forgot to mention, Art, for anybody that's in the chat, that back giant size two-fisted manly tales. Those books are shipping to me next week. So
cool.
We will be inspecting them, making sure they're all up to snuff, and begin shipping next week. So
Snuff film.
So
what exciting times. I got to tell you, I am so proud of all of you guys. We were just talking about deadlines, and that's when you're just doing one job, and all of us are doing multiple jobs, taking on multiple, tasks daily, working. It's 9:30. I don't know about you guys. I got up at 7. And
7, you slacker.
I
like corn. It has the juice.
But I think this is great. You guys should all be proud of yourselves, putting together amazing content, amazing books, and we're just kicking ass.
And I love drawing energy from each other.
Yeah.
When you're getting a little tired of 45 days of promotion and stuff, there's always somebody to pick you up.
Yeah,
true.
It's body slam you.
Yeah, it's just a good time. Like I felt like my first part of the career was just to get me to this place where I really appreciate what we have now, because it's kind of like not going through hell. I don't want to describe it like that, but there's a lot of trials, there's a lot of tribulations, there's a lot of stuff that we've all gone through. So now we're a little older, but I also think we appreciate what's here. Because we know how special this is, and we know how fleeting these things can be. So we're all kind of embracing them with both hands and trying to make the best of it, and just kick ass. So I try to tell the younger CGers this stuff. Like, don't think this is how the industry works. Don't get this is once in a lifetime stuff, you guys. So make the best of it. Enjoy the hell out of it while you're here. Yeah. So what's that? Dan?
And stay positive.
Yeah. Hey, Paul, let me ask you, answer your question. Are the No Dandies allowed shirts getting shipped too? Yeah, everything will be getting shipped. We just been waiting for the books because a lot of the stuff comes with a book, and there was no point in shipping them out separately. So everything is ready. We have the trophies, we got the shirts, we got the hats, and we're just waiting on the books. And as soon as they arrive, ammo out the door.
And more important, he's got the fulfillment center.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah. And you know what? I had my covers printed in 3 foot by, I forget what it is. It's just gigantic poster size of my covers, and they're hanging up in the fulfillment center.
Yeah, it looks great.
Yeah,
I posted that picture.
This is a cold, hard shot. Aren't all CGers the younger CGers? Maybe.
Yeah.
Wow. That's pointed. I think that's pointed right at you, Art.
Yeah, that hurt right there. Yeah. All right, man. Well, next week we are going to be on Billy Tucci's channel, so check that out. Billy will have a dandy topic for you.
We're gonna have something fun. No homework. No homework. We're gonna have fun.
I like that.
Billy doesn't like the homework.
No.
He's not a big homework fan. Yeah.
You just talk about shit. I have no idea what the hell you're talking about. Like comic books.
It's amazing. Like Billy always comes in like, I have no idea, and then he always like hits a major like home run. Like somehow you always
lying.
Oh, Teddy Roosevelt's license plate? Well, that was B7621.
That's right.
Yeah.
And the interesting thing was that FDR gave him those numbers in 1912.
Yeah, that's about it. That's about
the shit
it.
I was into, man. I wish I don't know.
Yeah.
All right, you guys.
We know.
Well, have a wonderful evening. What's
Okay.
left of it, and we will see you soon. Oh, tomorrow
Thanks,
night.
everybody. Thanks for your support.
The Pontificators tomorrow night. Take care.
What's on
Bye.
Pontificate? Oh, okay.